Futures relatively flat here with 10 seconds to go before we get this September inflation print. It'll be market moving regardless. Here's what's expected right now. Core inflation expected on the month over month to be 0.2% to the upside. Just hearing 2.4%, so a little higher than expected there. 2.4% on the year over year number. 2.3 was the number expected there on the year over year number. So again, higher than expected, 2.4%, 0.3 month over month versus 0.2%, the actual number that was forecast. Core inflation rate, 3.3% versus 3.1%. So you can see the initial reaction here. A little bit of downside movement, but we are bouncing back right away. Initial jobless claims just out as well. 258,000 versus 227 expected there, so higher. 1.86 million versus 1.82 million on the continuing claims. We'll get a whole bunch of Fed speakers once again today following the CPI print. It'll be interesting to see some of those comments. Again, if you're joining a little bit late there, 0.2% on the overall number there, month over month versus 0.1 expected, 2.4 versus 2.3. Kind of a muted reaction overall for the market there, just 0.25% now. To the downside for the NASDAQ, we were expecting maybe a little bit higher than 2.4%. I was reading late in the day yesterday that some people were even saying maybe 2.5 comes into play again. But yeah, I mean, we'll take it, I guess. Not a heck of a lot of action here.
Not too much, Brendo. Yeah, trying to hold 20,400 right now on the NQ December contract. You know, how much of Helene did, or how much of the effect of this higher print was caused by Helene is what I meant to say there. So we'll have to keep an eye on exactly what sectors experienced higher inflation. As I see here, some of the information coming in looks like energy was down 1.9%. However, food rose 0.4%, so mixed bag there. Usually those two obviously excluded from the core print on the headline number. So we'll keep an eye on which areas are experiencing inflation.
Yeah, you and I were talking the other day about the this number following the last jobs report that came in, you know, such a blowout number to the upside. Would this follow suit? But not the case. Here's the past 3 months in a row on the month over month number. Exactly the same. 0.2, 0.2, 0.2. July, August, and September now. So not much budging. There we go. That's better. 0.2 for the last 3 months in a row here. So not much budging as far as inflation is concerned on the increase side of things. But overall, as we said, the market kind of shrugging this off so far this morning, guys. Good morning.
Morning. And yeah, it feels as if, I mean, it was an initial move into the downside, but you're recovering at least a little bit. So yeah, not a huge reaction to a slightly hotter print there. But, you know, at the end of the day, they did do the 50 instead of the 25. So you got to think that had they done 25, maybe there'd be more of a reaction. I'm talking about the Fed. Had they done the 25 and then we get the print, maybe there'd be more of a reaction. There's a lot to chew through today. First of all, I hope everyone's safe out there in Florida. You know, best wishes to all, and, you know, just try to stay safe out there and help each other out. We're here to navigate through a busy day. AMD's got their event at noon. I think that's going to be a big one. Obviously, we have the reaction to CPI. We got some Fed speakers. Tonight, late tonight, we're going to get Tesla. They've named the event We Robot, but it's a robotaxi event, so like you will see how that goes. I still feel like you want to go back to the well. Like, we got some pretty key levels that got put in on Apple. And it just held, like afternoon support just held to a dime on Apple at 228. So until it loses that, you know, I still feel like that's a pretty strong stock. I'm not really giving up the notion that it has to be bearish here today. I'm still going to keep an open mind. Got Tesla on our brains, but also NVIDIA's at a pretty good level, 131.5. And don't sleep on the Chinese ADRs. Feel like some of them put in some pretty good levels yesterday. Alibaba particularly, it's set. If we do have a down day, the Chinese names can always do their own thing. So I'm going to keep an eye on the 111 on Alibaba.
Yeah, great to hear. I see a lot of people in the chat there are completely fine. I feel like, thankfully, I think it hit at category 3, which was still really bad. But I mean, there was talks about a 5 or a 4 hitting, which, you know, thankfully, seeing a lot of positive talk there in the chat about Milton. So, yeah, look, I mean, Nasdaq's going to fall down a little bit here. Let's let it digest. I mean, some of these numbers, they start to move, and, you know, we don't look at a bigger picture of it. I mean, the Nasdaq is still, you know, not pennies away, but it was getting close to all-time highs. Right now, this is 3 times. So if we're going to look at the triple Qs here, we're not too far away. Actually, let's just look at the SPY. I mean, yesterday the SPY hit all-time highs, and right now is right there as well. It's not like it's dripping down that much, 577. So you're down 0.19, but what an epic run this has been for this name. The S&P 500 just continues to impress this year. Taking out more highs right now. I just feel like we're going to go through. I mean, you're not taking out highs. You're down 0.2, but it's a nice rebound, as Neil said. We did get some nice dip downs. We got right back into the 20-period moving average, 50-period on the 20-minute chart right there at 574.30. That came in right there and hit 574.50. So again, I just feel like we're still following this trend higher. And until that kind of breaks, I'm not too worried about it. I like the longs right here. Heading into tomorrow's PPI, this comes out relatively flat. We'll probably expect the same for tomorrow. But let's see, this market continuously going lower right now. Sometimes you get a little bit of a bounce back 5-6 minutes in. It doesn't look like we're doing that. So the move wants to continue a little bit lower right now. I wrote down here on the TQQs that we were looking to take out that high. If the number, came lower, it came a little bit higher, so we go down. But I was looking at this 75, not even that high. I'm looking at, it was up into here, 75.25. And I tweeted it out anyways. These charts are going to take a minute to load up. But let's see if we can take it out. It goes all the way back there to September 25th date right there, that level. I'm looking to take that out and dip buying as well. So if the NASDAQ can come into some of this support here, we're going to buy some of that right down here into that tick. So we'll see. Light trading so far. AI event today, robo-taxi, all that kind of stuff. Should be real hella fun right there. We write in the chat, GM, good morning. Whenever I look at GM, I always think, like, why the hell am I stuck something in Ford here? Ford just continues to be a nothing. 1050 right now, doing absolutely garbage. Look at Ford, just like, that's right. Absolutely nothing here all last 2 or 3 months. Meanwhile, whenever I see GM, and I've sold some GM, so I'm fine with what it's doing now. But this is kind of, well, I guess, you know what? They had that bottom there in August. We've sort of reevaluated it, but now I guess it's not doing too much either. Stuck here, $47, $48, looking to break down that 50. I'm still waiting for this level. I mean, I think 50 is such a key level that if we can get near there and break it, good to go. So that's the level that look at this chart. This is actually really nice here. From January, Ford, 30, where was it, Jan 1, man? Like $35 up to 47. Good so far, man. Up 25% or so. For GM this year, it's a pretty good year. Anyways, yeah, lots to talk about here. It's 8:38. I don't know if we have anybody lined up or not. I don't see anybody, but we have Brendan and Sharif.
Is it?
A few things of note here. I was just hearing Fed Fund futures to the upside once again, basically solidifying that November is probably going to be a quarter point, as everyone pretty much already knew. This is the dollar right now. So this is a daily chart of the dollar. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, call it, days in a row, straight to the upside. So what a bounce this has been off that 100. Again, if you zoom out, you got to go all the way back to 2023, summer of 2023, when we broke that. We were sitting here with Frank Caberna, was on that day, I remember, and we were talking about how historic that 100 level has been over time. We broke it, immediately took it back, and now have been chopping around just above 100. Holds again for the DXY, so back to the upside again.
Which is interesting, because we were predicting more aggressive rate cuts. The more aggressive the rate cut, the weaker the dollar gets as it increases in circulation. So we'll have to keep an eye on that. I was basically just reading some predictions before the CPI report. It looks like economists are still predicting a 25 basis point cut and giving it a 70% chance of likelihood, even if we printed up to 0.3. We didn't get 0.3, obviously we got 0.2 month over month. The weekly initial jobless claims obviously helped that a little bit, but maybe influenced a little bit by Helene, possibly there. Keep in mind that yesterday, Sean was talking about the SPY closing at all-time highs. The Dow also closed at all-time highs. So the market's already liking this already, Brendan.
Yeah, to be expected maybe on this. I mean, not as bad as expected, probably better than expected at the end of the day. I mean, shout out to everyone in Florida as well. Wow, that's a tough one. If anyone saw the videos coming in, all night long dealing with that. I mean, over 1 million people I saw without power. I mean, the entire center swath of Florida as a state without power right now. It's just crazy.
And the umpteen amount of reporters, Anderson Cooper included, what are they doing there?
With their rubber boots on.
Yeah. I mean, come on, man. Anyway.
A few things of note here. A little bit of follow through coming back into the futures here. 0.5% for the NASDAQ, S&P now 0.3 to the downside. AMD just went red as well. It was positive to start things off ahead of their AI event coming up later on. We'll touch on that a little bit more. I wanted to show this as well. This is the 10-year, so yields popping on that ever so slightly. The 10-year back to almost 4.1 once again. So again, another bounce off that 3.5, 3.8 area for the 10-year. Yields rising, but again, they're basically locking in that. I mean, it's over 90% now. That will get a quarter point coming up in November as well, guys.
Yeah, so NVIDIA just lost its support at 131.5 here. So there's a little bit of acceleration going on. Like, this is going to be a key level. Obviously, when you have the CPI come out, you look at the levels because they are what they are. But you're going to have to find something. Futures do something in here. Like, I don't necessarily say, I don't want to give up on the notion that we can't go to buy. I never want to overreact to the initial move, but you're starting to get some acceleration downside. At least it can hold on to 131. This might still be in play, but I think you got to look at relative strength, I think. So what's relatively strong? Amazon's still green on this and above prior highs. This was setting up for a rounded bottom potential breakout today, but you know what? It's holding those highs. So looking at what is looking better than others or holding up stronger than others, if you're still green, if you're holding above yesterday's highs like an Amazon is, obviously now 185 instead of a breakout might set up for some kind of a dip by there, looking pretty bullish. Yeah, even Apple just lost 228 there. So you got to look very, very carefully to see where you're going to have those kernels of strength. Right now, Amazon is standing out a little bit to me. So I'm going to have eyeballs on this one, maybe a little bit more than I would have previously. I was looking at Intel break. That's pretty much, I'd say, almost gonzo now. Alphabet is solidly red. This was one that was just setting itself up to break back above 162.25. Instead, you're continuing a leg down. Alphabet was incredibly weak in yesterday's trade. So, yeah, Amazon looking pretty good here. That's right now the takeaway is NVIDIA is going to try to hold on to 131. That dip not looking as good as it did before. I'll try to find some other names that are not as bad here, but it's really just Amazon that I've been able to find in a quick little scan here out of the names I'm watching.
Yeah, we're long. We said we try to go long the futures, but breaking through 73 here, this was the level that we wanted to get at, was this 50-period moving average on a 20-minute chart is what I was looking at right there. So we started the bidding at 73.30s. We're at our average price is 73.20. So that's right here, right where it needs to be. So I'm fine with it. We'll go long here. If it breaks that bottom of 72.80 or so, or 72.90, we'll get out. So a lot of size right there for pre-market. Okay. Yeah, market's still trying to go downside. So we'll wait to see what's going on here. Yeah, that is 70,000 shares live order there. Seems to be, look, see how fast that goes through. But at the end of the day, it doesn't even move the stock. All right, so we're going to go long here. It's funny, I'm not here tomorrow. We're going up north for Thanksgiving. And my brother-in-law has already booked a tea time. And I'm like, dude, do you have any idea what the temperatures are? Like, what the hell am I supposed to do? So it'll be either a lot of drinking. Yeah.
I think it's warmer.
It's not warmer, trust me. You might think that. Maybe it is. I don't know. I hope it is. I hope it is. But the last time it was warmer up north, yeah, I don't know. But anyways, yeah, so we'll see. I think I was looking, it's supposed to be 20 degrees on Saturday. So that's actually warmer than many summer days around here. So we'll see if it holds out. That's what I'm holding out hope for. And then tonight's NFL game is San Francisco, Seattle. Could be a good game. We'll see what winds up happening. That could be a good game.
Chiefs are on the bye, so I have to start Geno Smith. That's all I know.
I'm facing you, so I'm glad. And I'm sad.
We're playing each other?
Yeah, I have some.
By Kenneth Walker, too.
I have some Chiefs. And, nobody.
You have nobody tonight? Oh.
I have Brendan Ayuk, which should be good.
Oh, Ayuk.
He could be wide receiver 1 tonight.
Ayuk's legit. Okay, we got a bit of a battle. Well, if I'm down after having a quarterback and a running back go, and you got Ayuk, then I'm in trouble.
Oh wow. Well, we'll see.
We'll see. That's fantasy.
Last week I had. Who got hurt? Oh, Achan got hurt really early, and that really sucked. That guy's a glass last house.
He's not a big dude, man.
No, and he just the way he runs and everything.
He's like 10 pounds heavier than I am.
All right, so right now, here come the futures, man. All right. A little bit of this to start the day. Let's just see. We're flat on the trade. We held it against ourselves, of course, so we're happy when it comes back up. I do have a first take here in the 35 because, again, we'll take something out. We'll see if we can get a little bit of a run up here in the futures. Hopefully, we just had that little bottom take there. Neil mentioned some key stocks like Apple getting to the bottom as well. So, you know, that was 228. We wrote that down. Sticky note's going to be out in a minute. As soon as I stop rambling out here, we'll push send. But here it goes. Let's go, man. We're waiting at 36s. Give me that print right now at 36, and we'll start the day off here, hopefully with a dub. But, all right, let's get back to the desk. Not much to see here other than we're trying to go low. Well, we are long.
Just noticing Alibaba trying to bounce off yesterday's aftermarket levels here, 108.70, downside a little bit here. It did gap up again this morning. But overall, Chinese ADRs downside, we'll talk about that coming up. But yeah, AMD, Kathy in there buying up a little bit anyways, ahead of this AI event. Both ARKQ and ARKX buying a total of 3,000 shares, about 500,000 notional. Yesterday ahead of this AI event to come today, but right back to yesterday's lows here.
Yeah, so they're expected to announce some new stuff in the event today. Can't wait for that. That starts during the How to Trade Midday Show. Make sure to catch it with us. So we're expecting new AI processors as well as GPUs. So we already know their MI300. That's the Hopper competitor or NVIDIA's H100 competitor, but they're coming out with a new one, supposedly the MI350, and that's supposed to take on Blackwell. So I'm all ears about that one to hear what they have to say. Separately, they're also expected to announce CPUs, a new advanced CPUs for servers. So the good luck there. They also, they're forecasting, Brendo, about $4.5 billion for their AI chip revenue for this year, which is obviously well below NVIDIA's data center revenue.
I was just looking for, I don't know if we have that yet, a start time for this today, but I'll look it up. What do we think here, guys? I mean, a little bit weak here right now, only 0.2, similar to the market, but the initial move downside trying to follow through.
I believe it starts at noon for AMD's event. So, you know, it's a good time of day. Markets sort of settle down in there. I like it. Sometimes I prefer when the events are in the middle of the day as opposed to like 1:30 and then it bleeds into like sometimes power. Like that Meta event, it seemed like it was going to the close, was like a pain in the butt. It's like, hey, end it already so we can get into the close. No, look, AMD, I usually don't love trading the ones that have the thing going on, like the event going on that day. You get like two halves. There's before, we can maybe take some early trades, and we usually want to be flat. Typically, you get like at some point, like a sell-off where there's a run. If there's a run-up, you get like a sell the news type of event. If we do dip further, I really liked 168 half in here, like a pivot spot, like a resistance to support level. I like the confirmation. You didn't really carry the move down there far enough for that. But I'm just not going to favor this one today because and some of it has to do with the event and some of it has to do with NVIDIA being NVIDIA. I'd just rather be a little bit more patient. So if we do tank enough, there is that 168.5 that I like on AMD. I'd just rather maybe trade that one post-event and then go back to the well with NVIDIA. It looks like that 131.5 is going to try and hold in here. If we didn't, you know, I think you would have had to wait a lot to get down into 128, but that's starting to come back in. I am favoring right now, though. Amazon's up 1%, and like a bunch of other things are down. I feel like that's the bid that I'm currently sitting out on VWAP, and this will be an over/under for me on NVIDIA in the chip space. If it can hold that prior low off the open, I think the longs are good to go for that 131.50. AMD, I'm probably just gonna stay away from it unless it's the 168.50. Something crazy happens and it's trying to bounce off this level, or we get after the event at noon. I think joining it for some trend after can be the way to go here. You know, just don't want to get tripped up when it could be a little bit noisy when they have the event anticipated.
All right. 35 handle winner on the futures. We take that bid. But again, I'm only out of 20% right now. We just got a 50 fill there. So starting to go back up to the upside. Look, the sticky note's now out. I don't have AMD on there. I don't have NVIDIA on there. I just, for today, I'm going to look, we'll trade whatever basically whatever happens, we'll trade it. But there's that 170 again for AMD. We wrote that down. I mean, it's right here. It's yesterday, 170 long. We had it yesterday. It was a great trade. Was one of the best ones for me yesterday. And we could have had it again right there. So now that's, for me, that's a level you're going to look at here for advanced micro devices. It's a 170 long. I like that trade. If it can come back again, yeah, we'll take it. We chose the poison with the futures. That's working out really well. As I said, we're 35 handles in the money now. So hopefully this can continue its climb higher. But who knows? Sometimes you get that retracement. We've seen this happen on number days before, right? I mean, it's going to have to settle down. If that number came a little bit hotter, maybe they're thinking PPI could as well, which starts the talk, I guess, of maybe no rate cut again. I would think that they're going to go. You were trying to load up the website. I don't know if you had any luck with it.
Oh, it did.
I have it right here as well. What is? Oh, I'll load it.
I have 80%.
Crude right now, ripping upside right now as well, apparently. All right, so yeah, this is what's happening when I'm doing it. Let me see if I can hit it again here. No, that guy's pretty strong. Not really. Okay, where is? Oh, here it is, right here. Okay, November. So there it is. Yeah. So we still are looking for that quarter point rate cut there. But now, see, now there's something there to say that maybe there is no cut. So we'll have to wait to see what winds up happening here. That's the November, and then going over to December, we have it still the same thing. So 80% chance that we get that 50 points by December, right? But I don't know. It's interesting. We're going to have to watch this number to see if there's no cut coming. Right now, 14% chance of no rate cut, which would be, I think, horrible for the market. So we'll wait to see. This is just too much flopping back and forth. Like you went 50, then you went none. So I think that's the Fed always seems to be a little late to the party. But for right now, that's what we're doing, guys. All right. We are expecting Luis, but maybe not today. So we'll see if he comes through talking some more small cap stocks. There are a lot of runners today. Faraday Future, Sharif, a couple different names moving around. So no matter what, we'll be here to cover them all, hopefully. But we do have our rundown. And again, hit us up in the chat. Make sure you hit the like. Make sure you hit the subscribe. I told you guys that there would be no better place to watch the CPI number. We had it instantly as it came out. We're going to have the same thing tomorrow. You're already rocking with the best of us. Make sure you hit the like, hit the subscribe. Turn that little bell black or red or whatever it needs to go so you get notified every single time we are live. Sharif today with Joe on the midday.
Joe in the
That's
house,
going to be
baby.
Another banger coming on the midday, talking options, get your questions asked. And again, a little bit different style. Neil have a different one. I have a different one. Sharif, Joe, Satea, all of us, completely different styles. All right. You let me know, Fabian. Are we going over there? Are we going over there? Where do you want me to go?
Up there?
Let's go to Adara then at the screen.
Yeah. Hi. Adara's over there, Fabian.
I am over here. We have a great selection here of upgrades and downgrades to talk about with Nike, actually, surprisingly, here getting an upgrade from Truist Securities with a $97 price target. CVS Health being upgraded here by Barclays. Then we have Oppenheimer upgrading not one, but two more expensive stocks here, starting with Costco getting this upgrade at $980 price target. Netflix ahead of its earnings next Thursday with this upgrade as well from Oppenheimer. Now on the downgrade side, Marathon Digital getting a downgrade from Cantor Fitzgerald, though it's trading slightly higher today. We have Birkenstock with a downgrade from BTIG Research. Bernstein with a price target increase, but a downgrade from, PayPal here with a downgrade from Bernstein. So they did raise their price on the stock. And it's also worth noting here, PayPal actually hit new 52-week highs yesterday. So PYPL could be interesting today. Then we do have PepsiCo getting a downgrade from TD Cowen a couple days after its earnings report. So much to look at on this list, guys.
Are attracted to.
Yeah. Do hear Brendan's mic.
Don't disagree with that.
Fabian, both mics are hot right now. Okay, so stop saying bad things about me. All right, so we'll go over here. I don't know. You're going to look at Mara. Okay, so I was just going to say Costco. I mean, Costco, You've already missed that dip by opportunity. We talk about this on the market recap show almost all the time because I'm looking at 50-period moving averages. And did you miss it? Yeah, you did. It was $8.75. That was a great opportunity to buy this stock. We always talk about how it does have the ability to dip below it, but it seems to just battle back. Costco up 39% year to date. So that's like, wow. I mean, you would think, this is a stock, no one's ever heard of. Must be about 39%. Must be. Nah, I mean, this stock just keeps on working. And I think the same thing for Walmart and Costco. I'm glad to see it's an upgrade today. Flat on the day with the market down 0.5. Not a tradable name. I mean, I wish there was a Costco split coming or something like that. But even then, it wouldn't be The volume's not really there too much to trade Costco. I think Walmart, I mean, I remember when Walmart was $180, split down to get to that $60 marker, 150 down to 50, and then took out that 60. And now you're just absolutely mooning here. I mean, I really like these retail names. I'm in them, but I haven't bought them in a long time. We actually wind up selling some Walmart, before this, but in and around that like 65, 67 area, which was a horrible call. There it is right there. 50, like again, a relatively, new company, Walmart, up 53%. Like we sit here and we try to take like, oh, I'm going to trade Faraday Future. I'm going to trade this. Those can move 50% in a day. But if you just stay the damn course, man, like some of these stocks just continue to work, and Walmart is just a perfect example of that. You don't need to be in those sexy AI stocks or anything. Meta, some of these stocks are impressive, but these stocks are just as impressive. I mean, I don't know, let me just quickly, before I throw over to Neil, I just want to see, what is Meta up on the year? I don't think it's 53%. Meta, let me just find out. Oh, it's 66%. Jeez, man, these stocks are absolutely. Yeah, I can't go right or wrong here today. Good. I was like, oh my God, no wonder I checked the account. And then, okay, so here's AMD. Let's use this as a better example. All right, so everyone's like, oh my God, we missed the AI trades. That's only 16%.
And notice how you didn't pick NVIDIA there.
Let's check NVIDIA, though, actually, because NVIDIA off the split. No, because it's not at.
We should have said Broadcom would be maybe more for something in the middle.
Well, 180% for NVIDIA, so that's been really
Broadcom's
nice.
Probably.
No, Broadcom's probably similar, right? 66,666 is the devil is in Broadcom today. All right, so anyways, we'll wait to see, but I'm just trying to say that this rally, as we all know, there's names like Caterpillar, there's names like John Deere, there's names like Pfizer getting a bump just recently with Starboard. There's a lot of names that continue to go higher, Eli Lilly. It's not just a big tech rally, so we got to still stay equal weighted a little bit and be diversified, especially in your longer term portfolios.
Diversify your bond. And of course, I want to talk about Mara, which I can't say good things about it because what are you going to do? Okay, here's good news, 28% short float. But then as we were talking about in the aftermarket show and something Michael Noss has mentioned many times, only 2.5 days to cover. So big short float, but lots of liquidity. So therefore, if every single print for the next 2.5 days was just buyers covering their short, they'd be out in short order. So maybe not as good. Changed since January 1st. Because Sean was mentioning, I can't ignore the obligatory, that 35% down. JCB Sports Cards, that's all miners. They are boohoo. I agree with you on that, and obviously since the halving, it's not been good for them, but Mara's been particularly weak. It's the 50 period on the daily that I wanted to quickly show here. Like, it's just rejecting. Now you're not even getting above it. Look at it just wick into it. Like, it's popping and fading underneath the 50 period in the general downtrend. So trend down. See this? Like, pop, fade, that's resistance at 1680. That was a good level. But then pop and fade 50 period on the daily, 50 period on the daily, which glides lower. So same thing in here today. I'm looking 15.8. I'm looking at that just above 16 level. If we get an up move in Mara, I want to be shorting on the back end, like mean reversion, just any kind of a pop. Might not get a huge one with the market looking a little bit weak, but that's the one that I'm eyeballing that's on the upgrade downgrade list. I mean, I'd be looking at Mara regardless. The fact that it's a downgrade doesn't really change much of anything to me. Might just give it a few extra shares in terms of volume today because of some kind of a catalyst, and that never hurts.
A couple other things moving around here. Bitcoin, one of those, back to the upside right now. Initial move was downside with the overall market off of CPI there at 830. It's worth noting, MSTR.
Oh, yeah.
Way stronger at this point. All-time highs, in fact, earlier yesterday and the day before. We're downside a little bit here so far this morning, trading basically at Tuesday's high, or Tuesday's closing price right now for MSTR. But what a move that's been off that 120 again for MicroStrategy.
Unreal. This is the 4-hour chart of MSTR. I mean, not that long ago, Brendo, we were like early September, we were at that 115. Now we're knocking the door of 200. Today, they did get a price, or they were maintained by Bernstein as an outperform, but they did lower the price target a little bit. But just looking at some of the analyst ratings here, Benchmark has them at 215, which is a significant upside from where we are. TD Cowen at 200. You got Canaccord Genuity with a bit of a lower price target at 173, but it's been very strong, up 1% counter market right now.
Yeah, way stronger than Bitcoin. That is for sure. Let's get into everything else we need to know. Lots going on so far this morning. Let's have a look at the market.
58.41 is where we closed out yesterday on the ES December contract. As Sean mentioned, the SPY made all-time highs in addition with the Dow yesterday, but we're still below that 50-point shelf. 58.50 still eludes us, but we did take decisively on a closing basis a previous shelf, 58.25. We took that on a closing basis. We're below it right now. Let's see if we can reclaim it.
If you missed it at 8:30, 2.4 versus 2.3 on the September CPI print, so a little bit higher than expected month over month as well, following suit. So overall reaction downside initially, but we are bouncing. If you haven't done so, grab that. Link is in the description. All you need is an email address. Comes right to your inbox every single morning for absolutely nothing. Let's talk about Tesla here. Coming up after the close tonight, the much anticipated. Is that too strong? Robotaxi event to come. What will we see? What will we hear? Remains to be seen. I kind of still want to see Optimus maybe in the back of a robotaxi on the way.
Driving it or sitting it. Yeah. He's a robotaxi. He's not driving it, Brendo. Yeah.
Maybe Optimus will do the entire presentation. That would be cool.
There's a lot of, let's just say, skepticism about this event today. So I'm finding it increasingly hard to find anything that's positive about the robotaxi. I'm seeing a lot of comparisons made to some of their competitors, Waymo, Cruise, and the implications of these articles are that they are more robust because they use more sensors. So here's the look. So Tesla is being accused here of relying solely on computer vision and end-to-end to machine learning. They're not employing LiDAR and some other sensors. We'll have to wait and see, but they are at least here being credited for having a simpler and cheaper technology in their cars, which makes it easier to mass produce.
We'll see what happens. Might be more of a market-moving event tomorrow versus today, guys, but worth keeping an eye on Tesla again.
Yeah, of course, Tesla's always worth keeping an eye on. Let's be real about that. You get a full day of trading without having to worry about it. But Moy Consado's got it dead right. Johnny Cab, baby. That's what we've all been waiting for. If you're old like me, then you remember Total Recall and you remember Johnny Cab. And unfortunately, I think they have the wherewithal to understand that putting a nonsensical robot in the front of some kind of a robotaxi doesn't make any logical sense. It's just extra cost. He turns around and talks to you. Like, you want to, if it's going to talk to you, it might as well be like Knight Rider, like we already have. Like, everyone's got it in their phone. You do that kind of a thing. But I love Johnny Cab. Didn't have to rip his head off, Arnold. Hopefully nothing like that happens for Tesla here today. I'm expecting, because of the event and the fact you didn't break out, you didn't break down, you didn't break out here, you failed a 246 breakout yesterday. I I was in this break, and it did make a good move. Like, it got up to 47. Like, you can't complain. Like, that was a solid breakout. If you're scalping out of it, you did well. So it was a good break, but it was a failed break nonetheless through 246 in the general sense. So I think that sets up as a resistance level today, like pop and fade. Failed breakout trade would be there, but the 240 is looking much better than the 238 that I like. So, yesterday I was all enamored with the market being weak. We'd play back into the 238 level. It just never happened. All of a sudden, 240 feels like the way to go. So just kind of bumping up where we like the longs from. Because I think it's an inside day, I'd be playing a fail break at the 246 level. And if it gets to 250, everybody already knows what happened at 250 the last time. So it's a mistake to have only really shorted 250 twice when every single time it's gotten up there. And it's like multiple times you could have had this. You could have had it like 3 or 4 times on delivery day. You could have had it the following day. And then you could have had it like 2 or 3 times the day after that. And then it was another flush. So you got to do better if we get back to that 250 on Tesla.
And, we might as well downgrade Amazon because, their business isn't really working out that well. I know we're talking about Tesla, but we just get the Amazon word in our ear. And I was just actually talking, where's Obi at? Obi, the Amazon numbers just came out. The biggest day in its company's history, Amazon Prime, there. So those last 2 days, it's right here, announces its Prime biggest day, was the company's biggest October shopping Prime event ever. So I shouldn't say biggest day ever, maybe Black Friday might be bigger, but biggest Prime Day event in October. So I should watch that. But that's the note that's coming here on the Benzinga Pro platform, up 1.37%. So there it goes. And oh boy, did we write down on our sticky note that we like $73 for a TQQ fill? Did we? I mean, there it goes. Now we're starting to rip upside right here. So this is 45 handles now, 50 handles now in the money on the futures here as we dip bought this thing. And we liked it so much, we bought it 4 times. That can hurt when it goes wrong. But when it goes right, it's a siren event. Okay, so we wrote down, we're talking about Tesla. Look, I think it's a nothing burger today until we get more of this stuff. But Tesla will move anyways. The futures are moving and rocking around. So I wrote down here, let's just not ignore 240. That's all that I wrote down. It looks like, and again, this was all before the number, but didn't even get down there. It got to 241. The reason why we wrote down 240, we talked about closing prints. We talked about past support and resistance. That's all that I do. So I don't really, I was talking about this with Fabian. I'm like, look, dude, I don't go home and study apparently 150 charts like our good friend Michael Noss. You know, I just know what I know, and I look for support and resistance. And right here, 240 for me on Tesla looks pretty good. But if you're going to take 240 long, then you also have to respect that this bottom is really 237, 238. So I think a better play for Tesla today would be to actually wait for 240. Right? Yesterday, why we wound up losing, what was it? Was NVIDIA early yesterday? Or was it AMD? It was one of those two. But it was just that it was tanking in to levels that we liked, but they weren't the ultimate level. So for me, like, that's what we sort of have to wait for is I can't take 241s here on Tesla thinking that I'm going to wait for 240, because then when 240 comes, then I have a decision to make about, okay, then what am I going to do now when I can clearly see that this is a 238.50 level that goes back to the beginning of the month. So I think if you don't want to wait for these bottoms down there, that little wick that's 236, I don't blame you. I don't think we need to test this 237.50. I would be more interested in this area, which is 238.50, and that little bottom wick is basically 237.75. But if you get down here, then why are you not waiting for this? So I feel like this is a good area to start to think about the longs, but at the same time, look at the trend. It's this way. It's short. You're underneath the 200. You're underneath the 50-period moving average. So I think that the short is probably the preferred trade. But do you really want to go short a name that is up almost 1% into a falling market? I say no to that. I think it's relatively strong. So we have to wait for that bid nearing closer to 240, or we have to play the market and see what it gives us. And if it gives us the short and it's looking real good and the market wants to turn around, then fine. But for now, man, Tesla for me is a wait down here near 240, or we debate the short up at 246 if it gets there. But right now we're cruising with the futures long. What's going on, man?
Patty Ice coming in behind there.
Patty.
The walk-in music for... Let's touch on AMD. If you haven't been with us for the first 30 minutes, make sure you join us at 8:30. We're touching on this early on. We got this AI event coming through at, 12 o'clock. Our time, 9 a.m. on the West Coast. It will get underway. Trying to bounce right now off yesterday's low, but lots of expectations, to say the least. I mean, we had this NVIDIA thing for the past 3 days. I didn't see anything exciting coming from it, but AMD, not the case.
No, and hopefully we'll get some big keynote speakers today. We're going to be covering that for you guys on the How to Trade Midday Show. Dare's going to be right here at the big desk. We're going to bring all the headlines. Expected, though, at this event is new announcements for AI processors and server chips. We know that the MI300 has been a very popular, or as many as they could build, popular replacement or alternative for the Hopper, the H100 by NVIDIA. Now we're going to hear about the MI350, and this one is slated to take on Blackwell, the B200. We're also getting server CPUs and PC chips with advanced AI capabilities. Brendo, I'm all ears.
Yeah, so 12 o'clock, keep that in mind. Might be a wait and see kind of thing until then, but we are trying to bounce here, guys. Back to green for AMD.
Yeah, so look, when it comes to Josh Allen, baby, but we're actually just talking about, I think the Leafs are going to be
We're talking
good.
about sports teams in Toronto.
Yeah, sports teams in Toronto. I feel like right now the Leafs are NVIDIA. The Raptors are... Who are the Raptors going to be? The Raptors can be like a Micron.
They could be world champions this year.
The Jays are like Intel. and I don't know what else.
Why are you throwing so much shade on Intel, man?
Oh, come on, man.
It deserves it.
No.
It's the worst. No, but it's the worst year of Blue Jays history.
Yeah, it was like one of the worst years. Expectations.
Maybe for Intel,
expectations were really high, and it's the worst year that
yeah.
Intel's probably had since its inception, and the Jays just had a very disappointing year. So that's a segue. Anyways, AMD, the event is happening at noon. I'm a wait and see on this one. So unless it gets down into here, which is seemingly unlikely, you never know. Like at 8:30, anything can happen. It certainly had a chance to get us down into the 168 half level, but if it's not down into that price, it's middling in the middle of the bottom range. I'd rather, as we said, NVIDIA is now right back above, or check that, it's right at the 130-150. It was above. This got to like 32s, but it was holding the line here. I don't love the fact that you're getting these topping tail candles at the support level. Ideally, this would be holding back above the 131 half to look for the continuation long. I wouldn't want to be waiting till 133. For now, 131 looks like the good hold level on NVIDIA. I want to wait till the open on this. I want to see the volume hold on to this 131.5, and then all systems go to the upside. I said we always ignore AVGO, and I'm just reminding myself, and I'm literally putting Broadcom on because I forgot to do this. I'm adding it to my quote board, which is an easy way for me no longer to forget about it. I would be looking more for Broadcom strength, except for the fact that it's not really bouncing off a terribly key level or anything like that. Sorry, it's not going to be split adjusted. It's not bouncing off any key levels. It's kind of floating out in the ether. If the disaster happens, 181 looks really darn good on this stock, but I don't think we'll see that. But I'm adding it to my quote board, so at least if it does what it did yesterday, I won't miss out on the big movement that was in Broadcom. But it's the 131 half that has to hold for me on NVIDIA at the open, and then I want to go long from there.
All right, I purposely, you can go find the sticky note today. I purposely didn't write anything down on here because I don't want to get addicted to a price level, and then I feel like it needs to hold. Randy? No. Okay. And the reason why is because Randy's not here today, which is sad face. Okay, so 170, because I wasn't here today, actually, I was hoping that Randy could be here because Thursday we had talked about having brisket days, and it seems like he always takes Fridays off. But apparently Friday, oh, hey, Randy, you want to have some brisket? Oh, no, that's not real, Randy. Damn it.
It's like he's messing with us, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The thing is, Randy was wearing shorts, I think, yesterday or 2 days ago. And I was like, dude, what the hell is your problem? Okay. But so was Rob, I think, also.
Rob's wearing shorts today.
I think Sharif is wearing shorts. Sharif, you got the shorts on over there? Sure. No, he doesn't have the shorts on. Okay. All right. So 170. 170. So anyways, if I were to do something on AMD today, which I probably will, I think this is a good level here. I'm just a little worried that, that was not nice. 175 yesterday, and then the market opens up and we hit a straight line down $5. So this must have been the stock that I lost on yesterday. It's just like, you got to stay away from some of these names until they hit the key levels. And I can't keep saying that, but it keeps happening every day. It's like I write down levels. I'm like, it's never going to get there. And then yesterday I hear Neil's like, oh, no, it wasn't AMD, because Neil's like, oh, AMD's bouncing off 170 again. And I'm like, what, 170?
It wasn't AMD.
So you got to stay there. So some of the levels that you write down, you have to stick with, right? So AMD down there at 170, I like that. I don't know if I'm going to go short, not in an event, because Lisa's not coming out or no one's coming out and talking negatively about AMD. So I feel like that's fine. It's not like they're releasing any data or anything like that. This is a talk about new products and the future. The other one that I wanted to talk about, obviously, we always look at NVIDIA. So this was a huge trade the last couple of days, man. Just buying dips, being patient for it, waiting for that to happen. Well, we already got a nice dip right there. I'm a little confused about the semis right now because they're not really following what the market's doing. So I need to just hold off a little bit on all of this. They're worse than the market. I feel like that's what it was yesterday until we finally got going. Nice red candle there coming through. And again, NVIDIA, although I was thinking that we could take out that high of 140, I don't know anymore. There just seems to be a little bit of a pullback here. Doesn't look like we'll do it. I thought we could do it by week's end. We got close enough to that, but then yesterday happened, and that sort of put in potentially a turnaround candle, right? It's not enough to be like a doji star up there because it's a little bit too wide, but at the end of the day, this could signify a little bit of a turnaround. And to say this hasn't happened before, like you were up here, you dropped down 20%, then you dropped down 30%, then you were basically here again and dropped down another 30%. So, there is an opportunity here for this name to continue to go lower. I would say this is, again, a Kramer saying, but I would say hold, don't trade. Like, if it goes down, I think you buy more, but I don't think you get too excited and sell here. I really like what's happening in the AI space. I still think it's, 3 to 5 year play from here, and we'll just see where it goes. If there's any nervousness, it'll be at noon when AMD starts talking.
Before we go, we got a super chat. I know we're going to talk about China in a second, but Nick Dubs, thank you for reminding me. Appreciate the super chat. I did look at Datadog. You were asking about it in the aftermarket show. We didn't quite get to it. You have a large swing in it. Reminds you of DocuSign swing, also similar to Now. Good luck today. Good luck to you as well. And shout out to Bears versus Bulls. Like it. Yeah, look, obviously, we always talk about like that consolidation over the 50-period moving average. And even better if it breaks the 200-period moving average. So it's already done step 1 into step 2, but it just made another break of, it's not a head and shoulders, but it's another resistance at 125. So I think like a second stage is happening here where your support's now all of a sudden the previous 120 level just underneath that 200 period. But like the first step is already gone, right? So I've never actually done the whole swing thing and then divide it up into, instead of taking profit, put 2 trails out there. But I don't wonder if that doesn't sometimes make sense. Because if I was long in here, I wouldn't want to lose the 120 if I hadn't taken any profit. But this does feel like it wants to get back into that high. And just a point, we're talking about this days to cover on short float. Remember, we're looking at Mara, it's like double-digit short float, but 2.5 days to cover. Like Datadog is the same thing, 2.5 days to cover, but only 2.5% to the short side. I'm really liking this metric a heck of a lot more when it comes to comparing names with short floats and how much they can squeeze. Because it goes to show you that percent short float doesn't matter that much. No, I like the play. You need to hold this 200-period moving average, though. That's the key one for myself. But it's Snowflake is the one that's setting me up to get in tomorrow. Fingers crossed. As long as Snowflake doesn't lose at all, I'm getting into that swing tomorrow. Or maybe even at the close today, actually.
All right, let's touch on Chinese ADRs here. Back to the upside this morning. Here's FXI, just to give you a broader view, back to 3350 here. If you zoom out, that was around the area of that initial resistance on the down day. Going back a couple of days, but nothing significant today, just continuation of that move yesterday.
Yeah, Alibaba's got a nice couple of upgrades here, Brendo. One from B of A, chiming in here with a buy rating and boosting the price target from 106 into 124. JP Morgan as well coming in with an overweight rating and boosting the price target as well from 108 to 125. So good look for Baba. It's already green, but a little bit off the highs.
Yeah, we'll see if they continue. Definitely some relative strength here once again today for these.
Yeah, I mean, 1% doesn't seem like a lot for these Chinese ADRs, but for Baba, it's where it bounced yesterday. I think that's the most constructive. 106. Support here on the 15-minute. I feel like it needs to break 111 to get a big move. And if you get an inside day, prior close is 108. Like before the number came out, I was like, you know what? Up or down, the Chinese ADRs can do their own thing, and you don't have to worry as much about the numbers. So, this 108 prior close, you have prior support in there as well, and then a 111 breakout. That's about it for me on Alibaba. I think it's easy to say we've bounced now pretty significantly off of 106, and that happened yesterday. If it goes all the way down there, sure, we like a long. But the fact that you're able to hold out here above the prior close, stay green. If it goes red, then it's an easy out. We break out the 111. You've got a pretty clean gap fill to 13 and 14. So a couple of ideas there for Alibaba in particular. I didn't really, I'll cop. I didn't look at JD, or sometimes I look at Pinduoduo. I didn't even look at them today. Baba looked pretty nice at those levels. So I didn't bother looking anywhere else.
Just quickly here, so we actually have a little bit more. We have about 60% left. We took some TQQs there at 73.35 right there as it was just hovering around. We already got that top, but we bounced off the 50-period moving average here for the TQQs. So this was a spot there, so I want to take another piece right here as we get back. I mean, it's 42 is that level. I'm also waiting for another piece at 45. That will put me down to half left. So already some decent spots here. It's about 20 handles in the money. I'm just trying to play the reversion back upside. I don't think the CPI was that bad overall. I mean, 0.33 versus 0.32. It was like, we're just hovering on it. If we take the low, we're out. So unfortunately, if that happens, then we'll be roughly flat on the stock because we do have a little piece left here. So if it takes out that low, we are gone. Just to give you guys an update as we get closer and closer to the bell. Look, I'm going to take the ETF side of it. Neil just talked about Alibaba. We probably won't trade. Well, NEO is one that we like to trade, but I just looked at that chart. It's not really moving either. So what I wanted to look at right here was this gap fill. So FXI gapped huge down, right? We got that stimulus that was not as much as they thought and was not when we came back from holiday there in China. And we were talking about the market at the beginning of the week. We had a huge dump down. Now it's filling that gap. That's what's going to have to happen, right? So I think it all starts right here at 34. So 34 on FXI was a level that held back to the upside right there. Once we broke it, it didn't have a chance because it was after hours. So we came in and then we went up and we got as high as this wick of 33.85 and then fell back in again. Then we made some kind of these are just going to be dark pools most likely, but that 33.80 again came into play. So I'm kind of thinking that if we take this 34, we can maybe run into this 200 period of 34.50, which is fine because if we take a 34 long, we can have an out back into here around 65 or 70. So 30 cents worth of risk for this trade, I like it. I mean, if you like the Chinese names, why not take them all and just go with FXI? You can also take the same trade in KWeb. But for me, this actually looks like it's trying to base out here and then head back to the upside. So if you think this is a multi-year sort of thing here with China or multi-month little rally that we may be coming into here, I think that's definitely something to look for, 34 long on FXI. We have to get there first, but if we do, then I think you break it and then you can hold it 30 cents against you. So I like that trade, just has to come through FXI with 10 minutes to go.
Only 10 minutes.
Let's get on to Delta here. Quite the reversal after the initial down move on their earnings report coming out pre-market this morning. We get all the way back up to 52. We just confirmed 10 a.m. on the earnings call, so I was wondering if that spike had something to do with comments, but 10 a.m. on the earnings call for this one, trying to hold 50 right now.
So it was a miss on the top and bottom line. But there was a couple of reasons for that. Number one, it missed on the bottom line for EPS because of Helene. So it was a couple of cents there that are attributed to Helene. Nothing of the miss was attributed to CrowdStrike. All that was priced in by analysts. Now, why is it up? Because they're actually guiding quite well. They're basically saying third quarter or fourth quarter bookings are coming in a little bit higher than expected. They expect more international flights, and they're focusing their efforts on international flights. As they say, the domestic market is saturated. Net income, Brendo, rose 15% year over year. Revenue only increased by 1%.
Yeah, we'll see if anything else comes at 10 o'clock this morning. But I mean, airlines in general, we were looking at cruise lines the other day. Travel in general has had quite the month or two here, last couple.
Yeah, I mean, I just saw Espacio in the chat saying nobody cares about huge miss on claims. Yeah, the jobs data is always going to be important, especially, I mean, in the context of travel, it matters too. I'm looking at this price action on Delta in the pre-market here and like, this is a good reason not to touch this thing until after the call. Like it was down at 47.5. It actually broke out yesterday's high very briefly before coming back into 50. There's literally no liquidity on the level. Like there's a 20-cent spread and even then there's no shares out there right now. So everyone's going to be waiting for after the call. I mean, that said, if after the call it decides to rinse anybody that might have gotten short down there, and break out the top, that would be one heck of a reversal. It was down 6 or 7 points at one, and now you're getting this consolidation. $50 is an obvious level. If it can somehow, after 10 o'clock or after the call is done, be breaking out above 52 and 52 quarter, I think that makes for an intriguing long. But yeah, I'm going to stay away from DAL. I think we have other fish to fry in here. NVIDIA doesn't want to hold that 131.50. Amazon's still holding some trend. We're going to talk about, we got spot price up next. No, Amazon's still holding that trend line. I feel like at the open, this is going to be the one for me. Just relative strength in here, Amazon. It's going to give you VWAP. It's got prior highs in there. So Delta, after 10 o'clock, sure. Let them finish that call, and maybe this one will calm down. I feel like a lot of people got bamboozled this morning thinking that was a sell, and then they pop on the guide.
Again, like, I don't know. It's definitely hard to trade stock here when it has this kind of a move. You're looking at this and you're thinking that maybe it takes out this 52 level. So that's 52.50. That high is 52 right here. Again, a good opportunity. This kind of movement, I think you sell. I mean, you made that top, you came back in. We came back. You survived the dip down into into the pre-market there down to 48. Like anything up here, I think is, if you're long a piece, worthy of getting out. And then if it works and it breaks 54, you can get back in. So again, down 1% seems to be fine to me. But like this is from August, mid-August, 37 to 50. Like that's a great move up. You might have been nervous in this, but then there's the sort of the life jacket to save you. So I would sort of say that you might want to take advantage of this, see if you're able to get something out, maybe even off open and see what happens. But like it's very, very violent. Like it was just breaking 50 and now you can get 50-50s. So, 50 cents back and forth here is 1%. So we'll have to wait to see what winds up happening. But Delta moving around a lot. I think you take something out at 52, trim the position and get a little lighter on Delta. And if it breaks higher, then you have that 54. Okay, the imbalances are out. So we can have a quick look at these. NVIDIA is going to be a bid here, it looks like. So that's going to be good. We'll go over some of these just real quick and then we'll throw it back to the boys. There goes NVIDIA, nicely done to the upside. I don't even want to talk. Is that Spotify? Because if that's Spotify is an absolute monster, this stock. SoFi with a bid? No, the next thing we're talking about.
Oh.
All right. CCL, we had that trade yesterday. That's been disappointing today. That given back a lot there. We had 1925 yesterday. That ripped up huge into the close, 2035, and now is down almost 50 cents from there. So looks like these imbalances will sort of just hold for it. Our TQQ position continues to rock a little bit here. It did just make a dip down, but look what it's doing now at the 50 period. Again, possibly another spot to get out. We're going to hold now for the open and see if we can get something near 73.50 and then again 74 for the TQQs. So far so good here. Let's go back over the desk and find out about this next story.
Yeah, but it gets to a point where it's like, how many subscriptions?
Well, there you go.
We were just talking about this. Spotify raising prices here in Canada, specifically, 24%. I mean, does anyone actually pay attention though to what they're paying? So the individual $12.69 up from $10.99. I'll zoom in here so you can see. The family plan $20.99 was $16.99. So pretty hefty uptick there across the board. But again, does anyone actually pay attention to what they're paying?
Brendo, I just paid more last year. Like, why are we doing this every year? Like, what's going on here?
Yeah.
Look, I have nothing but good things to say about this company. They offer now audiobooks, which they didn't prior to that. I think there's a cap per month that I'm using. I'm using it for my white noise at night. Yep. I'm using it for the gym. I'm using it for audiobooks. I'm using it for a lot. So I think it's a good price. Yeah. It's a good deal.
Yeah, I mean, we have Amazon Prime as well. And with Prime, you also get audiobooks, but they expire. If you don't use the credits up, they end up expiring. So Spotify is, I mean, nice little uptick the past couple of days here, guys.
I had this happen like on Audible. I got a note. It's like, do not let your credits expire. I'm like, what the heck do you mean they expire? I had no idea. So I went in and like bought a few audiobooks just off that. I'm like, what the heck do I want right now? I don't know. I got some like Star Wars book because I had no idea what else to get and I didn't want them to expire on me. Spotify, I don't know that we'll trade it, but it's got like it's a bull flag-ish. Oh, I did the wrong trend line. It doesn't really matter. You get the idea. A bit of like a descending trend line up top. So usually when I see something like that, really just wanted to break out of that top. It's not the clean, you get the idea. That's not the cleanest trend line, but it doesn't really matter. Like you want it to break out, close above, and then resume to the upside. Otherwise, when it's in the channel, it's like buy it at bottom of channel. Buy at bottom of channel or allow it to break out the top of said channel. In terms of, I didn't get a chance to talk about Snow, so I'm just gonna very quickly mention Snowflake did make that break yesterday, the 50-period moving average. So I want to look at some dips in here on Snowflake. I mean, the 50 is like at $116, right? So if it gets there, abject disaster has probably happened to the market. But you got this 118.5, which just held. So its little bull flag in the afternoon there just held that for support. I think that's an easy over-under level for Snowflake. Holds it, continuation long, loses it, hands off, get the you-know-what out of Dodge. There was, as Sean showed you, was really just pretty much nothing on the imbalances. I was expecting on a CPI day, maybe you'd see a little bit more. So Amazon's holding on to trend. I have marked off 186.70, but again, like you put a line in the chart from back in the 15-minute, who cares at this point? It's holding on to VWAP at 187, and then previous close is 186. Those are the places that I'm going to be looking dips on Amazon. Now NVIDIA is back above 131.5. Finally, okay, so NVIDIA is starting to hold some strength here after the imbalances hit. The 131.5 starting to hold up yesterday's bottoms. Yeah, I want to look long to this level, but if it just blasts through it at 9:30, I don't want to be sitting there fighting it. I want to make sure we get patient entries like yesterday. So don't want to rush into anything. Amazon looks the strongest to me. Oh, I forgot about Intel. Intel's a 2350 break. Pull up the 15-minute chart, tweet it out. Looks like that one could be strong. But I'll be looking at Amazon and NVIDIA. Those are the two stocks most interested in here going into the open.
All right, 25 seconds to go. When I see that family plan is $25 or whatever it is, it just makes me realize that Apple One deal is just so amazing. I don't have Spotify, but I did have it. I like the company, but that Apple One plan is just dwarfs that Spotify one, in my opinion. All right, here we go. 8 seconds left. Let's get going. 73.13. We're long on the TQQs. Let's watch to see. We are sponsored by Worksport WKSP. You'll find that on the NASDAQ ASAP WKSP, brought to you by WKSP, the opening bell Worksport. Okay, here we go. TQQs are now open, and so is the market. So, of course, the market's been open the whole morning, but we are officially now ringing that opening bell. So we'll watch out to see what happens right now. We do have our target out on this, breaking through that low of $73. We'll wait to see if that does happen. Apple's trying to hold forward here at 228. That's a level that we like, but we gotta slow down here because we do not need to be jumping into anything immediately. If something sets up, we will do that. Apple here at 228 is definitely something that I was looking at.
Yeah, and right away, I mean, Amazon goes straight to the upside. NVIDIA is still trying to hold that 131.50. So Amazon already broke to 187.5. NVIDIA, that 131.50 level that we like, it's starting to come in. There's buyers emerging in here. It'll be hard to see. Oh, never mind. Wow. Okay. There was a second ago there were buyers emerging at 131.50. It blasted right back underneath. This could be the liquidity grab that just happened. Get me in, get me in, get me in. Nope, not getting picked up. And it might take a break through 132 here. So, wow. So there was a clear liquidity grab underneath and now flashing upside. You saw me just try to get in a couple times. We'll have to sit on the bid and try and catch a dip here in NVIDIA. But very clearly, they liquidity grabbed underneath that 132.5 and now flying to the upside. I just picked up some 32s. Going to throw the stop underneath 131.5 on NVIDIA. Still nothing doing on Amazon, though. That's chilling out well above VWAP in here. So we'll see if we got trapped that first time. That was a crazy lit grab on NVIDIA. Now Amazon did come back into 187. All right, so Amazon coming back into 187. We just grabbed that one on VWAP. It got support under here, 186.70.
All right, Apple 228. We're long, new position. It's just right here. Let's see what winds up happening. But you know what it is, man. It is this one. It is the banger of the futures right now. It's 50 handles now in the money as we go right back up to highs, right into VWAP. So we taken out. We talked about this play, man. This is the play that we had right away. 830 play right here on the futures. Let's see if it wants to continue to run higher here. We're real happy about what's happening right now, Neil. Let's go. There it is, 228.50. Get a nice fill there. Sorry, 228.40 right there on Apple. We'll take a little piece out there and see if this one wants to continue higher. Man, we are now 60 handles in the money on these futures as it continues to go higher as well. 73.80. Why not? We still got a decent sized position on, still a third of this position on as we took two outs there. One at the 50 period at 35, then one right here where we were at before at 48s. So now let's wait to see if we get a little bit higher. It's Apple trying to go as well. So we'll be in these plays early right now, but we're not going to push anything, push our luck. We're just going to sit here and see if the futures do want to continue higher. If it does, we know we have Apple. We're already out of 40% of that one right there. It was a very, very early trade. We talked about scalping and sort of changing our mentality up on what we're doing. So that's what we'll do. I'm going to get one more piece out here on the futures. We'll take a 53 right there on the TQQs. That's a 40 handle winner. So hopefully now we can rip back up. And I'm waiting now at 77s to see if we can get a piece. I just don't want to be stuck again. Like, you know, Apple's trying to move. We've got two good trades on, but they're not good unless you get them out. So far, so good there. I like that NVIDIA long if this market's going to rally too.
It's trying to go. I mean, it's not doing a parabolic move to the upside. As a matter of fact, it's the same battle happening at this 131.5 zone. And I got it at VWAP, which, I mean, VWAP's an arbitrary line. It's just yesterday's low, that 131.5, is doing its best to hold on. And it's not really that strong. I think you need some confirmation maybe in the first 5 or 6 minutes. I need another candle to show me that this is a good area on NVIDIA. It's the same thing that happened yesterday. Like Amazon breaks the support level, but now it's holding higher. So I put my stop in. You guys know I had to stop. It got stopped out. It's right back into the highs. I don't want to be taking a breakout here. I want to make sure we can get some kind of a dip buy, but we did get rinsed on that one initially, and we want to see if we can pick up VWAP again. So the liquidity grabbed on NVIDIA, got in after. The liquidity grabbed on Amazon, and I was already in it. By the way, Tesla is headed for that 238. So that's the other thing. 238's that big support level. It was a low of the day when they had that deliveries move, I should say. I don't want to call it a debacle because they didn't really miss expectations. But 238 coming into play here. Maybe the 240 is waiting. Now 240 is going to start to hold.
Man, that's crazy. We wrote down 240, and I was like singing the same thing. You can take it right now, or do we wait for that low coming through of 238? So I think we'll wait on Tesla, but that was the name that I was looking at as well. Because I'm trying to look at some of the levels that we had. Looks like we had a great couple outs there here for the futures. We did take that one up here. We talked about it. Another out on the upside. They're still waiting for 77s. We do have a little bit of a reload, so we'll just go bang. We'll wait to see if it works, but it's Apple right now near those lows again of the day. So as the futures continue to sort of hover around and not do anything, we'll wait to see what happens with Apple. We did buy some 83s there, giving us an average price of 96. So it's right in, I mean, it's in the money now, but we're not getting this out. I'm going to try to wait for VWAP, or at least, no, a little bit more than VWAP. What am I talking about? I'm offering right now 20. So let's see if we can get a nice little move back to the upside here in the futures, and then we'll just go from there, man. Palantir going to be looked at, BABA going to be looked at, but we're going to go find out what ADR is talking about.
We have here yet another small cap and watch today. It's XHG. This is Exchange Tech. It's a Chinese ADR. Currently trading around the 28-cent level, so this one is going to be a penny stock. And I'm not seeing any catalyst. Looks like it could be a Chinese ADR sympathy play. But in terms of information to note here, it's worth noting we have a really small market cap. I'm seeing $770,000 market cap with a float of 4.3 million shares and a short float of just under 10%. So pretty decent short float and small market cap for XHG, guys.
XHG. Yeah, so NVIDIA is now trying to challenge 133, but Tesla's putting in a confirmation candle here at the 240 level. So I'm going to get in. So here's what I mean. There's your rinse. There's a nice little hold at the 240 level. I'm going to give it to the local bottom. I'm going to try and keep it a tight stop here on Tesla. Take first shot. You know, a Tesla, I liked it down at 238, but if we don't get 238, we got to play somewhere else. All right, there you go. It doesn't really hold on. The local bottom was 75.
Ouch,
so we took our shot. It just does not want to go. At the end of the day, try to keep it tight, but I guess we're going to have to wait for the 238. Go back over to NVIDIA. It's cruising through the high. Didn't quite get the opportunity to add. As you can see, it's really flying around now. So if it breaks 133, I'm not jumping in a breakout trade here. I'm going to wait patiently for a little bit of a dip buy. If we fail a break at 133, I'm going to probably jump out of this one. The market's not screaming the way that you would think with NVIDIA being this strong. So going to put a trail. If we fail a 133 break, I'm getting out and looking for VWAP, while Tesla is now tracking toward 238. So we want to wait for that level and try to tight stop in there. Looked like there were some buyers trying to emerge, but man, did they ever fail. Almost instantly, those buyers failed. Here comes that 238 level on Tesla.
Yeah, tough morning to try to catch. That's what I do too. Sometimes it's like you try to like see a level that you like and you try it, and as long as you get out, it's fine, right? I mean, we are here to take a little bit of risk. All right, so we took some out there on the TQs again, and just because I don't feel like it's moving around, so I just want to tell everybody we only have 20% left now of these TQQs. Still waiting for that high. If we can get anywhere near the 200 period, we'll take it. But again, trading can be difficult when we have days like this, especially when we have a number that comes out and it's a little bit as expected. You got people that are going to be a little offside, so you're going to have to figure out what exactly the play is. I mean, it wasn't as expected. It was a little bit hotter. I think it was 3.3 versus 3.2. I'll double check that number in a second. But well, maybe Derek can update us on that. We'll just CPI quickly when we get a second, because people in the chat. All right, so Apple. I did want to look at this again. It's down here. I don't mind averaging into this play. My bigger play is 227 now. We took the 50 period, we took the TQs off of the 50 period on the 20 minute. That's right here at 227. So if we get down into here, I'll put some more on 227.30. But then if we break 227, let's not be part of this, right? Let's not be part of a big move down. We do have 225.50 sitting there as well, 225. So we'll wait for Apple, but I'm taking a little bit more shares. What's up, Adara?
I'm just going to give a quick recap there of the CPI print. So we actually had core month over month here, slightly above estimates, 0.3% versus 0.2% expected. Year over year, also higher than expected, 3.3% versus the consensus estimate of 3.2%. The inflation month over month rate also, again, above expectations, 0.2% versus 0.1% expected. Same with the year over year CPI, 2.4% versus the consensus of 2.3%, though this was below last month's print there of 2.5%. So below the last month for the year over year print, but above the consensus estimate of 2.3%. It's worth noting as well here, CrowdStrike is running CRWD, the 15-minute chart here on CrowdStrike. I'm not seeing any CrowdStrike specific catalyst, but nice pop on volume. From what I've seen, this could be a potential sympathy play with Delta earnings, DAL. We know that they had the CrowdStrike situation. They were deeply impacted by that outage on July 19th, and they just reported earnings. So if I see anything else in CRWD, I will let you know. But nice breakout here in the 15-minute chart, guys.
Yeah, so 3.3 versus 3.2. Thank you, Adara, for that one. Thank you for talking about CrowdStrike and a couple other stocks that are moving around. We've averaged into Apple. We'll see what winds up happening with that one. Right now, only 2 positions for me. I know you've taken a couple shots.
I'm now out of
NVIDIA,
wins, by the way.
Yeah, good. Did it continue to go down? I'm actually not even looking at the chip names.
No, NVIDIA just, look, it just broke the 133 and came back underneath. So it broke the high, came back under. I immediately, I threw a quick little trail, got out. It's trying to come back into the downside. We're going to look at VWAP in here. 32 is kind of where liquidity came in looking nice. So VWAP to 132 looks like the place of action. That's just what I'm watching here. Mara, I said I wanted to short Mara. It didn't go up. It only went down. I mean, you can see here. So maybe back into the prior close, like 15.44, 15.5. I want to look to get this trend down. We thought maybe there would be a pop and fade, but there has not been a pop. Just the fade aspect of it. So going to look for some weakness here in MARA. Just want to let it get back into the prior close, or at least that 15.50 level before we take a shot at it. So NVIDIA's trying to pull back in for another dip buy. Tesla is still reeling.
Oh, shoot.
But it just it's trying to set up an entry here. It bounced off the 238 level. I'm not really seeing, like here it gave you like some indication that you were rejecting underneath and looking for that higher low. I want something like that. Like show me a nice little bottoming tail candle and then some sideways or some kind of consolidation or support to jump into the long. So we've got to be patient with Tesla. It is screaming to the downside. It's NVIDIA that at least showed you that strength and now coming back into VWAP. So I want to put the focus back over to NVIDIA. I haven't looked at AMD.
Well, AMD is an absolute shit show. AMD just continues to tank. I mean, we didn't. This is why I wrote down no levels whatsoever. And I hope that I was talking about this and very, very clear that I was not willing to trade semis early. And it's just like, there's the move down. I saw yesterday what it did off the open. It's doing it again today, man. 170, like we were at 170, 150, thinking like this was going to be a great day. And then now it's coming back in, now down 1% into 169. I don't see levels here for AMD. I mean, if you want to play off of a level, I mean, 168.50, I guess. Now that I zoom this back out a little bit, that makes a little bit of sense right there. We actually dipped down into 168.50 right there. That's 168.20. Could be a level. The 200 period moving average is 167.57. But again, a nice dip down opportunity there for AMD if you like it. It's definitely made that move. I would say be a little cautious due to the day, but I'm not overly concerned about that play. If you take the long and you hold it against 168.50, I feel like that's fine. Hold it $1 against you. I think you got to do that on these names for sure. All right, so here goes TQQ. Right. Let's just wait to see. I mean, it just touched VWAP again. Hopefully it can break higher, and this NASDAQ will retrace back up. It's not doing anything. This is what the actual market looks like right now. Sleepy. We do have that move right there. That was on that CPI number that we talked about, just a little hotter than expected. But here's the move back up as expected. We thought the futures did have a good chance to go. We are about to make bank, man, if this Apple goes. Like, I'm going to take out another piece right here at 84 if we can, not another piece, my first piece, right now at 84. Guys, we're long now at 73s. I mean, if this goes, we have a big boy position on, and we're willing to see what happens here for Apple. We're up now. We're at the highest spot we've been at all day now just because of this trade. But other than that, only 2 trades for me. Apple and the futures, kind of like the same thing, Apple and the futures. So we'll wait to see. Hopefully this is a long, but it doesn't look like it's doing much. So right now, we're really should be sitting on our hands unless something sets up. Let's go see if Adair can give us a trade.
I have DJT up here. This is up almost 9%. We did trade lower yesterday, but we know we did rally on Monday and Tuesday. There's a specific catalyst for this move, too. This morning, we have Trump Media and Technology Group here, DJT, announcing they're going to be releasing their Truth Plus streaming app specifically for Android devices. From what I'm seeing, The only place they mention it being available is the Google Play Store. So if you are an Android user, I guess this Truth Plus streaming app now available as DJT pushes today's highs up almost 10%, guys.
Yeah, I was just hearing in my ear, like the app's available or something. So DJT. Just go over there and pay. No, it's not. Just go get them. 22.50 right now. Huge move to the upside. It's a good thing you didn't pay for shorts yet because if you didn't want to go short yet.
25, I thought was a level.
20. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. You have lots of time to get that. Still 22.50 right now for DJT. A nice move up that 10%. I mean, yeah, you want to wait for news. I mean, there's nothing else about this stock, right? It's going to be news-based. You're going to play it off the election. You're going to play it off this App Store news. You're just going to play DJT every single day. I don't know if it's worth holding unless you know something because it's a very, very violent name. I mean, this was just down, almost hit my target of $10, and now it's up to $22. So 12, I don't know why this is not adjusting lower, but longer back. But this was just, what day is this? The 25th? So like you're just 3 weeks, not even 2 weeks, 3 weeks, I guess. Upside doubled now in 3 weeks. That's 100% return for those of you trading DJT and holding on to it. All right, we just got back-to-back outs right there. What price is this, you may say? I don't know what it is. I'm going to ask myself. 84s, 85s right there. So, hey, look, man, it's small, but we're hoping that this market can go. If it does, we're happy to be on Apple. The only problem is, I think Amazon, like I need to be on names that are relatively strong. Right now, Apple's relatively weak. So maybe that gets some fire underneath it. But for now, it's just chilling out. Next offers in the 90s, and then we'll see if we can blast a little bit right there as we get anxious holding on to this.
I mean, NVIDIA looked really strong about 2 seconds ago, as it was a reload off the pre-market highs, higher lows all the way, and then it ran right into the top, 133.30 for the fourth time now, and is pulling back. So, I mean, I like Mars short. It's not setting up much of anything. If we lose this last consolidation here, just going to jump out of NVIDIA and wait for VWAP like the original plan. It looked really strong. Thought we'd get a nice little push through the high of the day and not have to worry about taking a breakout. But all of a sudden, 133.30 resistance on NVIDIA is holding true. Let's go back to Adara.
And GXO here, GXO Logistics. This company is actually not a small cap. We have a market cap of around $6.68 billion. Short float of just under 3%. Pretty consistent volume off the open here after Bloomberg reported that GXO is looking to explore a potential sale, saying that apparently they are working with financial advisors, though a final decision has not been made at this time. So GXO popping up almost 14% on a potential sale here, guys.
Oh, come on, market, man. Do something. Why is the market doing this? I don't understand. Like, it's
Great
not.
question.
It's not doing. Look at the chart here. This is the futures. Like, I don't understand what it's. Thank you, Fabian. Very, very appropriate to get that oddly looking and shaped individual starting to hit the bottom of the market here. So it's the original meme. Yes, thank you very much for that one, Fabian. All right, so look, I'm starting to lose a little bit of faith in this market right here. So we took out a little bit more Apple there at the 50 period. I'll average it back here at 50s. But at the end of the day, I'm not in love with this trade. So no more averaging in until we get to 227. And that's going to be my out. So 227, something closer to that is where we'll average in. Look, we just took a 50 fill. So that's good. It's at 65 now. But honestly, like if this 227 breaks, I don't think we want to be in it anymore. So just looking at Apple right now, I like the stock, but I'm not chasing this move down. If it bounces off the 50, great. It hasn't been a great indicator, really. Now that I look at it, I'm just trying to use something here. And it's more like we have some support right here as well. Tesla just quadunked.
Yeah, Tesla.
Yeah, I don't really like any. I mean, look at the market. The market finally making a move down. So we can go over. I don't have Tesla up. I'm going to be bidding this in and around 227, and then that's it, man. And if it breaks it, it breaks it. It's Apple for me right now.
Yeah, so NVIDIA lost at 132.75. Like the original long was pretty much the only one that was any good here. There was a 32 in a 32 half and a 33, but everything is now bleeding. Like obviously, I'm out. Maybe VWAP can hold, but that's a maybe on NVIDIA. Tesla, this is what I kind of meant about Tesla. Yeah, so it's now at $236 and testing a 235 level. This is not This is not a nothing level on Tesla. This was a major resistance to potential support, but it just lost it in a big way. The only thing I was looking short, I'll cop to it, the only thing I was actually looking short to was Mara today. And this is what happened. I was waiting for 15.5, fail. It's about to break $15 here, so that's quickly a couple of percentage points to the downside. Maybe a VWAP retrace in there. NVIDIA is at least holding around VWAP and not bleeding as much as everything else. But the market heading back in. Yeah, but the only thing I was able to do was get out of the long, but didn't find any shorts in there. I'm scanning for some relative weakness in here that isn't just Tesla ripping some faces off, and that usually leads me to, is there a chance to get at Rivian or something that might come in sympathy? Rivian just now broke lows, so there could be a nice consolidation play underneath. It was a false break yesterday. It's a trend down stock. The problem is you're so tight to $10, which is support on Rivian, that I don't know that I love that one. We're just going to have to be patient here. If NVIDIA comes right back into the 131 low, that might be a play because it's one of the only things that has not broken the bottom yet.
Yo, Fabian.
So it's right back into this 132. That's going to be patient here.
Yeah, I was going to say, Fabian, never hit that wake up the market thing again because that's exactly what happened, man. He was like, let's get this market to do something. No, I'm not shopping.
Next thing you know, it's like.
Yeah, it's just like, I'm like, do something. And all of a sudden, oddly shaped original meme dude, no, do not do it. Fabian, my guy.
Bounce.
Fabian,
Bounce.
I'm in shares here.
Bounce.
This is my life here. Okay, all right, so yeah, maybe it wakes up to the upside. All right, so let's go now. We have a new trade position here. It's gonna be Palantir. Hello. Yeah, so we're long Palantir right now, 49er. We'll see if that one wants to go. We did average in. I mean, like I said, we have to be very, very patient. The best part about that is when you're patient and you've changed up your strategy, this is what happens. We are still positive. Still a good day here for the TQQs. We talked about only having 20% left. Like literally talked about that. Said we only had 20% left of the TQQ trade. Got a bunch out there. Did not average in and take it out for a 10-cent hit. Happy, happy, joy, joy. Okay, here we go. Let's go. Oh boy, are we happy right now, Neil. This is a monster right here. This is the monster. You have awoken Apple. Wake up, Tim. Where are you at, Tim? Nice move up. This is a monster play. Tim Cook saying, I mean, maybe those iPhones are actually getting shipped. Maybe they're actually producing them. Hey, maybe the world's leading communication team with Apple and their cell phones actually know how to make cell phones. Here we go. It's a nice move to the upside. Bang, it's 70 cents on Big Boy. So that's it, man. Now we can just stone cold chill. Wow, what a move that was here. We are fresh, we are hydrated, we are energized, and we are Sticky Note Nation. Stand up. There goes Apple to the upside. We're happy with that one. And then Palantir, by the way, puff, puff, pass on that one, Neil. It is now 20 cents in the money. Let's put some outs here on Palantir. We're feeling pretty good, Adara.
Seeing a potential story here as to the reason for the downside in Tesla. Rivian got a little bit of a move down here as well with a bit of a volume spike on that. But TSLA here down about 3% as we know. We actually had UAW President Sean Fain, who led that strike against the big three automakers in September 2023, apparently making comments saying that hundreds of thousands of U.S. jobs are at risk if there's a Republican election win because there's a potential there to revoke Inflation Reduction Act's EV investments. So saying that there could be some issues with EV investments depending on what the outcome of that presidential election is. I'm seeing that as a potential reason that TSLA pushed to the downside. So I just wanted to bring up that headline there coming from, again, UAW President Sean Fain with regards to some of these EVs, particularly TSLA and that Inflation Reduction Act EV investment, guys.
You guys.
Okay, well, it's going to make me like that Rivian short back into VWAP.
There goes Palantir. Yeah, I mean, Rivian, Tesla.
Rivian's already weak, but
I feel like you're hitting something on the head there. Like when one stock, like Tesla keeps going down, you definitely want to be looking at other names like in the space, right? I mean, if Tesla's going down, then it is going down, and you want to make sure to trade that. I just want to make sure that you guys are quite clear on a couple things here. All right, one thing is, like, we get excited when we're putting on trades, but the other thing too is this is a show. Like, I sit here on the midday and I just tell Sharif all the time, I'm like, bro, I'm long Apple here. And it's like $3 in the money. And I'm just like so chilled about it. It's just right now, otherwise it's boring. This is what we're trying to do, right? Entertain, educate, and show you what's good. And I mean, we talked about why I wanted to buy Apple. We talked about the levels that we liked there. All of these things all come together. And it's like when it happens, I sit here yesterday and tell you, and even the day before, oh man, we're getting crushed on some of these trades, right? And so it's like, my strategy doesn't change. The confidence doesn't change. Nothing changes. It's just sometimes you got to come in and I guess you do have to change your strategy a little bit. You have to adjust it with the market. We've seen, I mean, like what Neil was talking about today earlier too. Normally I sit there and I buy those Tesla dips at 240 and get crushed. I didn't do that today. Normally I sit there and buy AMD and NVIDIA, watch it go down, try take the bid and see what happens. We didn't do that today. Our spidey senses were up sort of on some of those names. So we stayed away from them. We just picked two names. We picked Apple and we picked the TQQs. Those are both highly positive. Then all of a sudden the market drips down like that. And I'm like, okay, what stock do, oh, I'm not wearing the hat. What stock do I really, really like? Oh, Palantir. So we went over to Palantir, found a bid there, saw that bottom and took it. It's called risk. You got to put some risk on at some point, and we did that for Palantir. Take the risk on the names that you think deserves said risk. So for me, Palantir will do that. I just took another 66 fill. We'll take that out, and here comes Apple. So right now, today, you know, it's been so far so good, a decent day because of that. Wait for your trades, be patient, take a book out of different traders, make sure that you're there, make sure that you're in the moment, and make sure that you're trading responsibly. And I think if you're doing all that, then yeah, the sky's the limit here.
Sky's the limit. Good song. Love it. Look, there is no limit to the downside right now on Tesla. There's no levels out there that you can pull off of and say, hey, look, this is where support's going to be. $225, $230, because they're round numbers. That's about it. But it is making a, look, I want one setup here. It's just going to have to make a bottoming tail candle and then hold a higher low. And then it'll be the same entry we tried in here. Tight stop, like last time, the stop was about 40 cents. That's what I want to risk. VWAP is $5 away on Tesla. So it's making a bit of a bottoming tail in here. Looking at the 233 trying to hold. If 233 can hold, I think this looks like a bit of a go zone. I'm just looking at this tape, and it's looking a little bit, for the first time, it's actually some strength in here on Tesla on the tape. So if it can hold and bounce off this 233 one more time, the buyers just came in there again. I'll take my shot. My stop is going to be just underneath the 233 level. So I'm looking at a quarter entry and the stop underneath there for about 40 to 50 cents, depending on slippage. But I'm not trying to chase this one upside. I'm trying to get this 33 tight. I did get short Rivian, got one out, but it's already starting to head back up with Teslas. You can see bottom might be in on TSLA here. Google also looks relatively strong. I'm going to get to that one in a quick second, but Tesla looking like a little bit of a bottom tail candle in here.
Nice trade. All right, so Palantir just, I mean, let's go. Here we go, 40 cents now in the money. Oh, there it is, Big Patty Ice. It is your first Dollar Club winner. I mean, you go to the club with Big Patty Ice, you're in trouble because you better not be looking to do anything. This man's Mr. Steal Your Girl over there. But here it goes, Palantir, huge move. Look, whenever we get the bottom of the day, we talk about this all the time. If it ever hits a level and goes right back up to VWAP and the 50-period moving average or any combination of those are good outs. So we'll take another out. We are still in Wow, Sean. You're still in 40% of something after this kind of a move? Man, that's good. Okay, there's Apple. What about Apple right now? What about us? It's $1.30, says Tim Cook now. He's like, Sean, man, you took us out at VWAP. Why did you do that? Well, I just explained why. And then here's the move now, making highs. This is what's going on, man. It's Apple. It is on here. Look at the two top stocks here on your sticky note today. TQQs and Apple. Both buzzing right now, and both huge trades. That TQQ trade, though, wow, did we get dripped out of that one there when that move happened? Right now, back up into highs. But you know what? No TQQs, no cry, because this has been an absolute monster. I told you guys, and again, you're asking for us to disclose share size. I'm telling you that I was long. I said big boy shares down here, and that's it. End of day there. Apple letting it sing now to the upside, $2.29, now $1.50 in the money. So you can always ask us, just tag us in the chat, where are we on our risk on this trade? Because not every trade we feel the same about, and that can be hard to come across when we don't show share size. So please ask us, like you can say to Neil, like, is that a maximum position on Rivian for you? Do you like it? What are the levels? Things like that. So anyways, we'll talk about that as we go. And I was just really happy here with this Apple trade and this Palantir trade. Palantir is now 40 cents. We're again at VWAP. I am going to take another piece out here. It's only 10 o'clock. So I don't want to have something come through. We do have Fed speak all day. There's one I think at 10 and maybe again at 10:30. Check our watch list for that. Those are posted there as well. So there's another out right there at VWAP again for Palantir. Maybe Apple getting a little spicy up here, but spice is something about life there.
Ice spice?
Ice spice? Oh,
I don't know. So
yeah, no, but it spices.
Very quickly, I did mention Google looks relatively strong. It's a bull flag setup. Tesla, that got away, didn't chase it. Hopefully it made sense what I was looking for an entry, but we didn't get it. It just went through 235, and I'm not going to chase the move. Bull flag setup here on Alphabet, which kind of came out of nowhere, but it sets up nicely for liquidity grab underneath the support level that I liked and a consolidation higher. So breaking out the top, if we pull into VWAP, great. Here's what just happened on Tesla. You can have a plan of action. Yesterday, it worked really well to try to be really patient. Like, that's how pretty much everything worked, catching some of those bids in NVIDIA or Apple, whatever they happen to be. However, there is another side to this. We talked about that in Lesson of the Day. If you're going to try and wait for this backside of the trade and not catch the falling knife, sometimes you're just going to miss it when you don't compromise. So might have missed that bottom. I'm going to cancel the orders in there. If you pull back on Tesla into 233, it's not necessarily the way I wanted to get into the trade. A higher low might be the way to go. There's plenty of room to VWAP. It can easily start to hold into here, 234 and a half. That's another level we can play off of. But any second now, I'm expecting you're going to see the breakout on Google. And don't want to lose sight of NVIDIA breaking out that 133.30 resistance. It tried 4 times up top. 5th time, hopefully a charm. NVIDIA back to 133.
Right now, first of all, before we go to happening now, what's happening now is Palantir is absolutely mooning right now. There's size on here. This is why I wanted to show it. We will go to Adair in one second. There is a big seller here on Palantir at 90s. It's actually at 89, so that was the top there. It came in, like it touched 43, touched 42.94, but now Palantir on a little bit of a pullback right now. So I just want to tell everybody we have 30% left of Palantir. I'm offering 95 day high. Bye-bye. Hopefully we'll hit that by the time we get back. And then just another update quickly. More outs on Apple as we talk about it. Right now I have about 20%, a little bit less, 15% of Apple, 30% of Palantir. All right, Adair, let's go.
What an exciting Thursday so far for these markets. We have the S&P 500 holding on to pretty clear support here around the mid 575 level, trying to push a little bit higher, though both NASDAQ and S&P 500 a little bit flatter on the day. We did get initial shock this morning, higher than expected CPI across the board for both the monthly and yearly prints, regular and core. So a little bit higher than expected CPI, though we have PPI coming out tomorrow at 8:30 a.m., so we'll have to see how that number shakes up. And there's even more to look forward to later today as well. We have AMD's Advancing AI event kicking off at 12 p.m. Eastern, and then after the close at 10 p.m. Eastern, we'll get Tesla's hotly anticipated Robot Robotaxi event, so that'll certainly be on watch here as well. Couple of Fed speakers throughout the day. We already had comments from Fed's Cook coming through. We'll get Fed's Barkin at 10:30 and Fed's Williams at 11 o'clock. Also happening right now around 10 a.m. is the Delta earnings call, DAL. Basically flat right now, pretty stagnant, chopping and churning after its mixed Q3 report. Worth noting, CrowdStrike, CRWD, really strong after this report. Seeing some speculation that could be a bit of a sympathy move with Delta, because we know that Delta and CrowdStrike were both pretty heavily involved in that CRWD outage. July 19th impacted Delta pretty heavily. So interesting look there for CRWD. We also have Tesla to the downside, though, trying to find a bit of a base here. Not exactly positive as to why this moves to the downside, though I'm seeing some speculation. It has to do with comments from Sean Fain, who is the UAW president, with regards to the potential impact of jobs being lost in this car and EV space if these EV investments are revoked, depending on the outcome of the presidential election. Speaking of the presidential election, we actually have DJT up over 10% here. Trump Media actually announcing that it's releasing its Truth Plus streaming app, from what I'm seeing, exclusively on Android devices through the Google Play Store. So great look here for DJT. Strong volume throughout the day. What a day we have, guys.
Yeah, the last time they said that, they weren't available in Canada on the Google Play app when I looked. It was just in the United States, but we'll check to see if that's actually true. 2 positions came in. One was Tesla, just a different setup than the one before, but at the 35 level. But again, it does not hold on to that consolidation high. Kind of like in here, you're not really holding the 35, so jumped out of it. It's trend down, so it really needs to set up to give it more room. And then Google broke out the top, or Alphabet broke out the top. So broke out this consolidation higher, got some at 62, right back into that 161.8. VWAP sits at 161.5 in here. So 161.5, that's a support zone for myself on Alphabet. Still waiting for NVIDIA to break out the top. It's not really bidding higher. Again, this is just a stop order. So if we break out the top, I'm crossing to the mid 40s. If we break a 133.30 level on NVIDIA, it just went red to green for the third time in here today, looking for it to break out this high. Still running into a bit of resistance. I mean, the market hasn't broken out of this consolidation, but when the market's pulling into a lower high like this, I'd rather favor a stock that's pulling into the high of the day here and with a little bit of room to run. Clearly, you can see like 134.5, we get up there. There was a drop zone on NVIDIA. If we take that break, it's a scalp trade into 134.5, 135. 25 cents away. Think it'll do exactly what Alphabet did. Very similar setups. Consolidating at the top, breaking out the high when the market's trying to go here. So a couple of stronger names in Alphabet and NVIDIA. Although NVIDIA hasn't broken yet, so I'm not in.
All right, 161.80, we're going to get out. New position. That was fruit salad there for a minute. 169, look, if it breaks through 169, 161.79, we're going to get out. The new position is Google right now. So by the way, Palantir, Palantir, wow, it took 43. And I was telling Neil, there's so much size on this thing. It keeps showing up, and it just keeps on plowing right through it. All right, so why are we long here? We'll go to Darren in 1 second. We're long Google, just trying to break through 162 again. Here's this sloping move. It's right back up here. I mean, the short probably looks better than the long right now. I'm here to definitely admit that. I'm just thinking, what can we get long if these futures actually start to go? And I was just thinking that Google today, being up on the day, is one of those plays. So it's in for consideration. It's Google and it's ADR.
We have strength today across the cybersecurity space. PANW has been strong over the last few days. We know CrowdStrike just talked about that pop. Snowflake here at highs of day, though. SNOW, consistent volume throughout. Not seeing any news on this. Saw yesterday, apparently, there have been some bullish option actions going on here in SNOW, but also getting a lot of social media attention right now as Snowflake tries to take out the 124 level, guys.
Palantir is I don't even this is money to say the least right here for that trade, as there goes Palantir right up into these highs again, going Palantir. Neil was just talking about Snowflake as well with ADR, but look at this move to the upside for PLTR, man. I mean, wow, this again, if we were doing lessons of the day or trades of the day for this one on Palantir, buy a name that you believe in. There goes Palantir. I mean, Apple could say the same thing as well. Good trades there. The only one that we're a little weak on right now is going to be Google. We'll see if this one wants to go, but Palantir making them sing, baby. Let's get a piece out, though, 43.20 if we can do that. We'll get 16s on this one. We'll take roughly, I guess not roughly, it'll be 65 cents if we can get that. So we'll wait on that one. And then right now it's just Google sort of position pending here, waiting to see if we can get a little bit of an upside move in Google. I don't know, man. Maybe we'll take some out at 20 if it gets up there, but I don't really have a price target. This name has a lot of room to run, so we'll see if we can hold on to some Google here. Yeah,
the frustration for me was the intention was to wait until the afternoon or like lunchtime or the afternoon to get into the swing on Snowflake. Now at this point, just not going to get a great price on it. It's broken out on the daily. We've already shown it a few times. At this point, I think you can put up a trend line in here for a reversion, but I was never thinking looking short on this stock. So I'm not going to put a reversion trade on Snowflake. When it's parabolic like that, usually I would. So here comes Alphabet. Yeah, it does look like, starting to come back in here. The breakout of that prior high and kind of like yesterday at the close was 161.85. That's why I have a price of 89. It's kind of a random price otherwise. I don't want to reload this unless it forms the higher low here. Anywhere for reload is either off of VWAP or you hold this bid, consolidate higher, break out the top, and resume the trend to the upside. That's what I want to see. You can throw a trend line in here so far, but VWAP I think is going to be a little bit more important. Tesla, we got out of Tesla when it didn't look like it was all that good. It still doesn't seem that strong, and it's not really setting up all that well for any of these long trades. Maybe it just needs to show something a little bit more clear. It's got a trend at least that it's forming back into the upside, but I like the relative strength in Tesla. That's why, in Google. That's why we're over in it. Mara here still looking a little bit weak underneath the 15.5. We're holding 60, just underneath 61,000 on Bitcoin. Mara's been a pop and fade. It's still trending to the upside a little bit, but you just had a topping tail candle. If it never gets past this 15.4 again and sets up a trend down, then I can get into that short in Mara that we've been waiting to do. It just hasn't given me the entry that we want to see off of it. AMD, by the way, AMD is now consolidating over VWAP. Kind of a higher low got put in. The 168 half, I didn't think it was likely, but that's exactly where it bounced.
Yes,
so I'll
sir.
slap the fail on that because that was the one level I liked on AMD, but it's already bounced there. I got to look for the higher low if I want this trend, Adara.
Another name moving pretty parabolically without a really salient catalyst here is CELH, the Celsius Holdings, almost at high day here after getting a nice little pop to the upside with volume. Not seeing any specific news catalyst on this, though. Apparently, Piper Sandler has its annual customer survey with teens here. They released that on Wednesday. Apparently, Celsius is actually outperforming for teens in the energy drink space. So teens liking Celsius, according to Piper Sandler. Not sure if that's what's moving this to the upside, but CELH up about 11% here. Great look, guys.
Let's go, man. Google, money bag, yo. I mean, this is just like starting to go right there, man. Boy, oh boy, did we put on some shares down there again for Google, giving us 61.80. I mean, look, guys, this is 12 cents worth of risk, now in the money 20. We'll take a piece out there at 62.20 for Google and be really, really happy with it again. So yeah, man, we're on one today and we're happy about it. That is for sure. What a difference this morning was as compared to yesterday. I missed that 20, Phil. That sucked. I was watching Palantir just go to the downside. I'm like, man, if we get near that 200 period moving average, maybe we break it. Instead, we hold it, but we do get another piece out of Palantir. Sad to say, and not sad at all, but we only have 10% left. I mean, I wish we had 100% left, but that's a great trade for me on Palantir today. And again, we are infinitely crushing right now. Let's see if we get another piece out here at 15. Hopefully it'll go upside. I'm just back into scalp mode. With the futures doing nothing right now, there is no point at all in sitting here and trying to catch the moon. But we are hopefully going to get one right now with Google. Let's just sit back, relax, baby. We don't have some cognac, but if we did, we'd be sipping it because bang, there goes Google again. Let's go, yo. Nice move to the upside right there on this one. Oh boy, man, this is what trading has been. We talked about this earlier. I don't go home and look at 150 charts. We just come in here and trade what we know, and it's Google, it's Apple, it's Palantir, and it is the futures. What a banger of a day, man, as we continue to go upside now on Google. Huge trade with big time shares. So let's see what happens now. NVIDIA ripping the top. Man, this is a great day here and a great day in the personal, I'd imagine, as well. So things still starting to go to the upside right now. SoFi is squeezed. We can look at that. But for right now, man, it's Google. Hey, man, we're 50 cents in the money. It's a $50 club right now for Google on shares. So keep going, man. This is a great day.
Yeah, I love it to the upside. The market finally broke that top. We'll get to AMD in a quick little second because I wanted to address SoFi.
Wow.
My next out is going to be right in here, 163.5 on Alphabet. You can see the overhead resistance at 64, yesterday's fail breakout price. So scalp to here, broke out to the prior low, get some out in front of the 50s because of that. Now we want to carry it through for the follow-through trade. So I did get into AMD on that trend. It bounced off the level we like, that 168.5. It just tagged the 170. It's holding VWAP. So there's the entry. It bounced on the level we wanted, but we're not going to get that again. So you get the bottoming tail candle off of VWAP and the trend line, bounce back above, long here, stop underneath the trend,
man.
and now we're going to hold it for that prior high. As far as SoFi goes, SoFi is above that level that we like, that 850 level. It's breaking the 860. This is pretty much what needed to happen on this stock. You pull up a daily chart, you're finally getting a real break on SoFi. It's legitimate when the buyers emerge above this 850 to 860 level, and this is the first time I've actually seen it en masse. So shout out to anybody that was bringing this one up, because I do want to pivot over here and buy any dip that holds this mid 860 level. Needed to dip in, set up some kind of a trend. Want to go for that patient entry. That's the name of the game here. That's what led to, hey, Google was holding on to prior close and this nice resistance, so we just took the clean breakout on the 15, and it's now starting to cruise. AMD holding as well, so we'll hang on to those two. But the next look, I think, is going to be SoFi, next available dip. Just has to hold these 860s, and I think this one can get to 9. Adara.
Seeing some breakouts here for DJT and RBRK, so Rubrik and Trump Media on watch to the upside, but also worth noting the S&P 500 getting a nice little pop here. Fed's Goolsby making some comments. Did not initially see him here on the calendar, but it's worth noting he is saying here, quote, the overall trend is clearly that inflation has come down a lot, and also saying, quote, inflation came in around expectations and that there is improvement on the housing front. This is through a CNBC interview. So Fed's Goolsby making some comments here with regards to inflation apparently coming down. We also do have more comments here on the schedule from Fed's Barkin at 10:30, Fed's Williams at 11, guys.
Fed. Fed, don't forget today, I think actually bigger than the Fed is going to be the AMD event at noon. But that's just me. Like we got numbers. Obviously, they were a big deal in the morning, but there wasn't that much of a shift in the Fed funds rate tool predicting. So usually that's going to let you know when it's going to be a big incident. So there was one last thing to mention here on SoFi that I don't think I did. I'm going to draw this up. It's a very, very steep trend. If it loses this trend line, I think VWAP is in play, prior highs are in play, but I don't want to be getting in if it's breaking the trend unless it shows me a nice little reversal, because that's a bit of a steep move. Usually I want to avoid too steep of a move for entry points. All right, so AMD, just going to go back over here. It's now trying to break out this like morning range top. Hasn't happened just yet. I'll be reloading this in front of VWAP as long as it can hold this trend line. So we're going to get some out. We're going to buy the dip and play it back into 171.5. Now looking a little bit strong. For profit, not giving up the China ship. Oh, I forgot about Alibaba. I just typed in China instead of Baba.
China.
Yeah, Alibaba didn't get to 106, didn't break 111. So it's still a bit of an inside day for Baba. There's 106. Doesn't really give you much of anything. Yeah, they're looking a little bit weak, but still up 0.7%. I wanted a breakout of the top. This is a very inside day for the Chinese names. That's a pass. I'm going to continue to look at SoFi instead.
I'm going to continue to do not much. We are just sitting here right now in these trades and just watching them continue to go. I mean, we only have that 10% left of Palantir, but wow, that was a huge one for me today. So we're really, really pleased with that one. The P&L number one, though, by far for me is going to be Apple, even though as I sit in here and it has pulled back. The craziest thing is I still have an offer pending here at 25s. I thought we were going to get it. It did not come up and fill us up there. That would have been real nice if that would have happened. But now Apple's pulling back into 228. I mean, I like this level. I was debating reloading it. But the problem is, man, we're already huge long. Like, we're already huge long on Google right now. And I just don't need this market to fall out again right here. But Apple's a good level for sure. I was actually waiting for some more 227s low. I don't know if we're going to get that. But that's a level that I'm looking at right now for AAPL. Okay, I mean, this just continues to keep going, man. I feel like we'll take another out now on Google if we can get that 31s. That's us sitting there again. We're just taking out like 10% at a time here. We missed it. So again, we put the offer out, doesn't fill. That's what happens. Maybe we should just punch something out. All right. Oh, here it comes. We're at 31s though. All right, cancel. There we go. We'll punch out 27s. So again, I was waiting there at 31. It went to 30 again. Didn't take it. So if it rips up, fine. We'll take some 27s out right now. So out of the Google position, we probably have about a quarter left. We have, oh man, we have about 15% of Apple left, and we only have 10% of Palantir. So that's an easy one. We'll see if we can find some more names for you. The banks. Tomorrow, it will be your favorite, OB, will be here tomorrow for me. So that'll be really, really exciting for all of y'all to see some OB trading coming through tomorrow, which should be fun. Today, OB is doing quite well, and he's on FXI, so good trading there for OB today. We'll get some Chinese names going through there. We like that one. Okay, so yeah, man, we'll just sit here. JP Morgan tomorrow, look at this barcode. I mean, if you use your phone like this and you sort of scan that barcode right there, it will tell you that tomorrow's earnings. So right there, JP Morgan not doing much. We'll give the banks a pass on that one. And good out so far there on Google as we get a little less on this as the market's trying to come back in. So I see you're got Google and AMD. So trading a lot of the same
Google's
things here.
Slow a lot.
Yeah, that's why I was saying we only have 25% left of Google. That was a monster trade. So really, really happy with Google.
No, I'm only down the last 20%, but the other thing it's fading a little bit here is running out of steam at opening range high is AMD. So you tried to break out. This is the open right here at 930. That's 170.65. I think if it loses underneath here, out, wait in for VWAP and see what happens. The NASDAQ, what's interesting too is like this is exactly the same thing as the NASDAQ. Like NASDAQ pulls right back in. You get like a consolidation. It's not at the same level because this is at the top, but this is at the prior support. And then you're getting a little bit of a chop. So it's a pretty important price level. If we can ramp from here, then it's a hold to 171.5. If we can't, it's a get out I'm going to try to observe the trend line. If that loses, then it's going to be VWAP here on AMD. So let's go to Adara, take care of a little business. Hope that plan makes sense.
This part of the show is brought to you by Trade the Pool. Trade the Pool allows traders like you to get evaluated and trade real shares using the company's capital. No PDT rule holding you back. That's how to give a true trading edge. Here's the exciting part. Trade the Pool has just launched a limited edition program to evaluate stock traders like you. For a one-time fee of just $97, you'll receive $20,000 in buying power. And all you have to do is reach the profit goal. The best part of this limited edition program is that they have reduced the profit goal and the minimum trades required to reach the funded phase. And the profit split has been upgraded so you keep 70% of the profits. You should definitely want to check it out. Scan the QR code or click the link in the description for more info.
Thank you very much there, Adair. Appreciate it. So still battle happening. When I say a battle's happening, you get to an inflection point. Like you get to a resistance or support, and then you get an equilibrium spot where a move which might be accelerating is going to start to slow down. For me, that's a decision point, and if it's going to be out, then I want to be patient getting back in. We mentioned that Google was running out of steam. I'd already taken the bulk of it out on the way up into the 40 level, but see what I mean? Like it's already starting to come back in. AMD's battling at a resistance and could go higher, whereas Google's already on the pullback. So suddenly, it's already trended here and broken trend right about at the quarter mark. The breakout was at 180, 161, mid-80s. That's the spot where I'd look for it to bounce first, either that or VWAP. Tesla's doing pretty nicely as it's back to the 238 level, looking pretty good on Tesla. I got out of it. We took a couple of shots at it. I mean, ultimately, I feel like my risk was, I think, pretty good because I was trying to risk 30, 40 cents each time to try to make a couple of dollars on it, but the entries weren't as clean as the dip buys that we were having yesterday's trade. You're now pretty cleanly trending to the upside. Oh, before we go to the small cap recap, looks like, yeah, so there's AMD. AMD just came out on the trend, so look for it to pull back into VWAP or hold a 170 next. I don't want to give up that 50, 60 pennies. I want to be able to get out and try and resume going back into this 170 or VWAP. Adara, what's going on in the world of small cap?
Possible reversion here for IWM. Definitely some rejection with that topping tail candle at 218 around the open. Then we chop and churn a little bit here around that 216.35 area that we're currently trying to overcome with after two strong candles to the upside. So let's see what the IWM does here. It could be a pretty interesting decision point for that Russell 2000. So many small caps on watch here today. You can get even more info on more tickers on the watch list. In terms of names that are still moving around here, we have Crown Electrokinetics. This is CRKN. This one is a previous runner. It once ran 400% in a day. That was going back to May. In June, it did a 1 for 150 reverse split. Today, no catalyst, but it is worth noting we have a 10% short float. Next up here with an even heftier short float of around 32.6% is WHLR, Wheeler Real Estate Investment Trust. This one has also run in the past. We know this one ran pretty recently. So WHLR and CRKN, both past runners, as is BLMZ. This one actually does have a catalyst here, trading higher after announcing that it is being selected as the primary animation contractor for an unnamed upcoming project. So good look here for BLMZ, which has also run in the past. Great list here today, guys. So many small caps on watch.
It's a hefty list, and I think today, like the one I actually was just about to go to pay for those shorts. I hadn't done it yet on DJT, and I want to be ready for it. But just as we were saying, that trend reversed on AMD. There it goes. We got out. You just broke the trend line as well. You're starting to pull back into VWAP here. So if it can't hold the trend, let's see if it can hold VWAP or the recent support. So might have ducked out at just the right moment. The other thing that just came back in here is VWAP on Alphabet. So Alphabet just came back into VWAP. There you go. It's also lining up on the trend line. So if you put in a couple of higher lows, there's VWAP. It lines up with the trend line pretty cleanly. So we reloaded there, but I'm not into that bounce yet on AMD. The idea here is to look for a curl off VWAP on AMD and Google. One already happened. The other one coming in a little bit hot and heavy is the market. It's still a higher low in the market, right? So you're still trending to the upside. But a little bit of a pullback here. Opportunity to reload some of the longs that we like. And DJT, yeah, I know it's absolutely ripping to the upside. It's now at 230. almost $24. So $23.50, 24. So I am going to go pay for those locates that I said I was going to do in case it got to 25. That's about the only level that I want to look for some kind of a mean reversion on.
Wasn't
even logged
to
in.
the 25s. I was like, yeah, are we going to get there? All right, it looks like we are. All right, so we just went and reloaded our coffee. We were talking with a couple traders back there. Shout out to my guy Obi over there. We're talking with him. He'll be taking my position tomorrow in the hot seat. All right. Fabian, how you doing, my guy? All right, so yeah, all right, we got stopped out. So we came back over here and we're like, what's going on with Google? So again, remember we talked about having, I don't know what it was. We didn't have anything over 25%. Maybe it was Google. But again, in and out right there on the 50-period moving average. We'll just get back in. We came over here and saw that it had faded out a little bit. So we'll just put back on some shares there. We did get stopped out. That's why you take profit when market goes up. And we talked about, where's that do something? I have it right here. You know, we talked about the market actually doing something. And if it does do that, you want to take advantage. And there's the spike up in Google. There's the spike up in the market right here on my bottom left screen. So, you know, if you're in stock, when that happens, you do take advantage of it. Man, that Palantir outs, these outs were pretty good. I was really happy to be able to take that one. Now we only have 10% left as the market has fallen back in. So our net is pretty much where we've been at. I mean, we did take a little bit of a hit there on that Google trade. But other than that, man, we're just kind of like hovering right now. Would have liked to have taken that bottom wick in Apple, but to have been here, that's too fluky. There's no way I'd be sitting there to do that. We're still going to wait for 227 bottom right there. But I might take something out. You are, again, right now at VWAP. With only a half hour left in the midday, in the morning show before we go over to the midday. Timing, to me, doesn't really matter that much. It's just the fact is it will slow down a bit. We do have at noon, we have that AMD event coming. And then let me just double check our watch list here, because if you go over to watchlist.tradertv.live, which is not the website, it's in the link in the description. Oh, there it is right there. Hit that QR code right there. We switch over to Beehive, which we're really, really happy. Pardon, Fabian? Yeah, hit it. Yeah, hit it. Just don't hit it with your hand. Hit it with your phone. And then don't hit it. Use your camera. I was just looking at right now. So it's Feds barking. I just want to go over this. We had Feds Cook. Again, this is on our watch list. Go grab it, man. Absolutely free, the best resource on the web. 9:15, Feds Cook speaks. 10:30, Feds Barkin speaks. That's coming out right now. And then 11 o'clock, we got Williams. So it's just going to be sort of littered with a bunch of Fed speak here. So we'll see if we can take advantage of that and if there's any market moves while that is happening. Apple just takes down 228 there. So I will actually put out an order now. We'll just take 89. So we'll just take an 89 fill there. We're long at 31s, man. 70 cents. Nothing wrong with 60 cents there. Nothing wrong with taking that. So we'll put that in our pocket and see what happens next. But good trading there for Apple and a decent reload for Google, I think. But we just keep on stopping, man, at 90s right now. So hopefully we get a little higher than that.
Fine.
Yeah.
AMD's trying to hold the 170 level.
Really?
I was just asked, it was, someone asked about Robinhood. It was Murad in the chat was asking about Robinhood. So first off, I'm bidding SoFi now. So SoFi, a little bit of a bottoming tail. Dip buy here action. It's above 860. I said next available dip that consolidates above 860. I want that long. It's a level on the daily chart, but you know, obviously you've broken out that level here on the 15-minute as well. So I'm just sitting on the bid. I have a midpoint and a 70 there, like kind of like half and half, like a bats mid. I always use bats mid instead of like Edge X, which is weird because Edge X feels better in a general sense. Old habits die hard. I should switch that key from my primary midpoint to Edge X. So AMD just bounced off VWAP one more time here, right back up through 170. So it bounced off of 169.75, back through 70. I got 04s on the way back up. I'd like a better price. I want to be able to scalp some out, see if I can get a better price in front of VWAP. Because I kind of took 170 because it was 170. And underneath 170 looks like there's some money fills down there if we get another chance. I'm just going to pop on the bid. So Google reload. AMD we're in, and then I mentioned SoFi just filled 70.5. So my price will be 71. I just noticed.
Yeah, I don't like that bold.
No, yeah, it kind of, I feel like it makes it harder to read for some reason. The bold.
You know, I think we need to do something with those, and then the breaks.
The breaks as well.
Between the stocks.
Maybe like a space. I don't know, whatever. I just realized that looks kind of harder to read. I'm only in 3 positions.
You know why we're trading
though.
so much, man? Because we got bills to damn pay, and
Yeah,
that's
it's
the
only in 3
thing.
positions.
Everything we're doing right now is cash money. So I should be trading more, actually, Fabian, not less, right now. I mean, look what we're doing here. Google, look at that reload. 78s right now, up to 95. That's 20 cents before you can even sneeze at that one. So let's wait to see if that keeps on going. Achoo. And then right there, oh boy, you want to talk about a trade. Look at AMD at 170. I know Neil's just talking about it. We've written down 170 for months on AMD. No, not really, just for a week. And there it is, man. It comes back in, it holds. We take that trade right there. We're long at 170 up to 170.50. Let's go. Let's moon. I'm sitting here at 170.70 to see if we can't take advantage of this play. So far, so good here on the day. We're at our highest spot we've been at all day, despite getting dropped out there on Google, because we're able to take it back and put some out again up there into the 90s. So just rinsing back and forth 20, 30 pennies here on Google has been a fair game so far. So I really like doing that. We really like what we're doing here today. Been very, very patient with everything, trading the best names we can. Palantir, nice bounce. We'll wait to see if that can continue to go. Apple, oh boy, that was a nice bounce there for Apple. We got something out upside. Maybe we should get another 200 period right now. Let's just do it. Let's just start taking profits, baby. I mean, this has been a big day, so why not? Take some out there. We'll take another one out there for Google. We'll say a little bit of diamond hands. It's $1, so we'll take another $1 right there right now today. So, I mean, again, we're trying our best to talk about all the stocks we're trading. And I feel like we are in too many positions. We're in 4 right now, but we're pretty light. We really took everything out on the high side today, which was really thankful for that, except for AMD. AMD just went to 170.50. Could have taken it out. Hey, man, if it breaks back down in below sort of this level right here, 169.70, then we can get out of AMD. So 169.70, we're out of AMD. We're not very heavy in this name. We talked about not wanting too many shares here as the event was today. So I'm going to wait on it. If it goes, it goes. But 169.70 is going to be my out there. And then in what was sort of I'm not going to take this as bad luck or anything, because it gave me the best trade for me today. It gave me Apple down there and it gave me Palantir down there, but we did get stopped out of our last 20% or so of TQQs at the bottom, which kind of sucks because it's doing what we thought it would do. But okay, that's that, man. AMD continues to fall down. Apple's been pretty good for us. We're out of that one. Palantir and everything. Google's pulling back in a little bit. Good thing we took some out 90s there.
Is that to Adara? Okay, before if we're supposed to, let me know. I think Google is threatening to break this trend in here. It looks like a really good entry as long as it can hold this trend line one more time. So it's 10:30, but you're seeing, come to my chart for a quick little second.
It's off.
So we got it off of VWAP, but even then, this is one of those, that's not the right entry, but it ended up working out. No, the entry should have been on the other side of that little bounce play. But either way, we did get scalp some out there in front of 162. Now we're looking for a VWAP bounce. If we close a candle underneath VWAP, that's a trend reverse on Alphabet, which doesn't mean I'm going short because I don't want to short the stock, but it does mean I get out of it. So I'm not looking for, I don't really have any mean reversion ideas right now because I'm thinking long. Maybe I'll find some somewhere, but it would be getting out of the trade at the least. And it's the same thing with it, or a similar thing with AMD. I feel like it already broke this trend off of VWAP. The second one looks like it's about to be threatened as well. If we lose VWAP in here, gonna jump out of it. SoFi, my stop is at like 867. And I didn't want to jump back over to Tesla before because Tesla, as I said, that's like if there's a mean reversion, do it on a weak stock. And I was gonna find if there was one. That's an ugly looking trend line. Let me do this before we go to Adara. It looks like it's trying to break trend here. So there's a topping tail candle, close under here, and I'm thinking short on Tesla. I think we're supposed to go to the crypto with Adara. Yeah.
Starting here, this crypto with this story on Ripple, apparently saying here to CNBC that they're going to be launching some crypto storage services for banks to help their customers store any crypto coins or digital tokens or assets there. This is part of their Ripple custody segment of the business, which they initially launched last year. They also have the token XRP and then Ripple payments, but this is part of the new Ripple custody, which again, announced pretty recently here. Some of these features include apparently an anti-money laundering monitoring section here to monitor for money laundering risks. They've also updated here their user interface. So Ripple on watch with regards to that news about crypto storage. Bitcoin had a very interesting place here on the daily chart. We had a lot of interactions with that 60,000 level, and we are pushing towards it right now after some resistance in mid-September, then support in early October. We're coming back in a bit of a precarious position. So let's see how BTC holds up at that 60,000 level on the daily chart after 3 days of downside. We have Ethereum also weaker today here, below that 2,400 level right now, but currently above 2,350. Some weakness here in Solana, BNB, Dogecoin, Toncoin, though XRP is actually up about 1%. Looks like the only positive name here of these main crypto tokens and crypto-related names, guys.
So AMD there, we have to, we can't be like, yo, we're hot fire right now when we have a losing trade. So we finally put one on, man. It took me an hour to do it, and it was an L. And it's kind of one of those things where we were just trying to respect that 170 level, trying to play off some of these levels, thinking that, this event's coming through, maybe it's going to be a good thing. But now I've just flipped it the other way, and now we're short. So we'll see if we can make it back. I can tell you how many pennies we lost there. I don't know how many it was. It was... I got multiple fills on the outs out there. So we were long roughly, where did we buy? Our biggest buy was 04s. And then we bought some more at 85s, and we dropped it out when it broke that 75 level. So now we're back short into this name, and we're just going to see what it does. Starting to go back down. We're short at 67s here for AMD. That wick right there is 30s. We'll take something out at 50s. Might as well capture there. We can take a 55. We might as well take some kind of profit here. As we go, make sure that we put something in our pocket. So that's what we're doing. We'll just sit here and wait now to see if we get a little bit of a lower bid now for AMD. If the market cranks, we know AMD, has the pedigree to get down here. So 168.50, I'm not sure about that, but if we can get something around 169 and just make it all back, then we'll just do that. So here we go, man. We just got hit on Google as well. We may need to rethink all this. Future's going the other way here.
Google's coming right back in as well. I haven't got stopped out of Alphabet, but we did get stopped out of AMD underneath VWAP. So I'm out of AMD. Well, you guys can see on the position board there. Going to go to Alphabet very quickly because this is about to close underneath and stop me out. It actually got very close to the 160 level, 160.60 level to just get me out outright, but it hasn't really closed underneath the trend. It's about to. Whether I get stopped out punching out because it closes this candle underneath VWAP, or it just breaks to 161.60. Either way, it looks like the trade in Alphabet is going to be at least done. The reloads on the longs, not nearly as good as that original entry. So obviously, that strength that we had was so much better on the way to the upside. You catch it on the way to, sometimes it works out. It is what it is. What are you going to do? You bounce off VWAP. It just has to work more than it doesn't. On an upward trending stock, I'm usually going to take that 10 times out of 10. Might not work today. Tesla, as I was I think, slow to get that trend. I'm like, what was weak? What's still red? So it did break the trend line, which I didn't save. That's my bad. But you get the idea. I can draw it again for you guys because we're in just something like that.
Go.
Topping tail candle, closed underneath it. I'm short here pretty much exactly at 238 and giving it to this little wick high, 238.5. VWAP's at 37, and then we'll see where it can go if it breaks down underneath VWAP on Tesla. I did want to revisit. I feel like it's crazy. Like I had this idea to go short in Mara, and I keep thinking I'm going to get the pre-market high. And it's just not doing anything. So I don't know. I need to be short this somewhere else. Tesla just went $1 in the money. That happened fast.
Oh, wow. Yeah, AMD on that reload, baby.
Fast.
Yeah, huge move here. Yeah, good move downside right there. AMD, we're cranking right now. Huge reversal into the short, man. That was a great opportunity to take that short. We just got a huge fill down there. I don't know what that was. 38s right there on AMD. Huge move to the downside right there. Google right now, we bought that off VWAP. We're going to get ready. We just took a bunch out, though, as it went to the upside there into the 50 period. So let's wait to see if Google can hold this. But it's AMD that's cranking lower, lower, lower. I think I need an animation like that. Let's get market red right now. I don't know if it's going to right now. The limbo thing? Yeah, if you want to hit that. I don't know.
The market red.
Yeah, so that's what I just hit right there.
Sorry. The market red's my favorite one. I was going to hit the same thing.
Yeah,
that was. You know when we talk about like across the board, if you have 4 stocks up, 4 level 2s, 4 charts, pretty much what I have, every single one of them dropped a bit at the same moment. So that usually is a bit of a sign. VWAP hit the 237 on Tesla. But what's interesting is Google didn't break the 161.60. So it's somehow managed to hold under here. It's like the pre-market highs-ish, and it's managed to hold. So for now, it's not that bad. But it's still feel like we're cranking into the downside here. So I want to be cautious with this. If it manages to bounce, put in a higher low off of VWAP, this might be a reload because you're holding on to VWAP on that flush. Like almost everything dropped a little bit further than Google, if that makes some sense. It was a very muted candle in there. So my stop hasn't moved. It literally went within 1 cent of it and didn't break. So if we can hold on to VWAP, this looks like a reload for me on Alphabet. The other point for Alphabet that I should make is on the 15-minute chart. Like this is was an accumulation zone right in here, 161.5 to 162. So a break back up would be incredibly bullish here for Google. Not giving up on it. It's looking pretty solid.
I mean, I got to say, shout out. There it is right there. Oh, it's from Adam. I was like, who's that talking to me over there? He said, great flip up there on AMD. Yeah, man. I mean, that's what you got to do. When your read falls the other way, you take it the other way. So that's it, man. We put that money in our pocket. It's been a great trade there for AMD. We're trading with big shares here. So I'm going to have to watch out for Google, watching out for this 161.70 here. I've just got hit there. That kind of came out of nowhere. I didn't even remember that we had that bid there, to be honest with you, because I was looking at AMD. So as AMD was falling down, this fell in. So we've got Google right here at 65. I've just been taking some outs here, 70, 73, 75. Our best out is 76. I'm waiting for 78s now as well. Just trying to scalp a little bit more out about this one. You can see that QR code was right there, Fabian. Do you want to do the e-signal? All right, let's do it, man. We are very, very proud to have eSignal now as one of our sponsors. So make sure you do hit that link in the description immediately. I've been trading with eSignal for 24 years. Wait a second, 22 years. And I really enjoy those charts. I've never, ever gone away from eSignal charts. I love the real-time data. I love the fact that you can get any single market quoted on there. It's an entitlement-based system. So it's absolutely great time frames. It has back testing. Anything you want with eSignal, it really is your all-in-one solution. So make sure that you hit that. I have scanners up, watch lists up, everything. I could not trade, and I'm being completely honest with you, more honest than like any other read, because I'm not even reading anything right now. I use eSignal every single day and feel like I couldn't trade without it. So hit up eSignal right there. The link is in the description. Make sure you rock with us and with eSignal. So, okay, let's go back to trading now. Apple, we still got 60 cents in the money on Apple. We're a dime in the money on Google. Who cares really about that one? We're 40 cents. I mean, I care about it. I am right now hugely into Google, so I shouldn't say we don't care about that trade. We definitely do, but it's just one of those ones where I'm looking and very excited to see what winds up happening with that trade and the futures, more importantly for me. So, all right, it's Adara. She's over at the big desk. Let's go find out.
A lot of these sectors here pretty weak. We've got a lot of weakness in the technology services sector, though it's worth noting some individual names. Notably, a lot of these names in the cybersecurity space have been very strong. SNOW not in the S&P 500, but a strong name today, as is CRWD. We also have some weakness in tech services. Finance pretty weak here ahead of Wells Fargo and JP Morgan earnings tomorrow morning, kicking off that earnings season. We also have some weakness in health technology, producer manufacturing, consumer durables, and retail trade, though Amazon, AMZN, pretty strong after their Prime Day event. Also strong is the energy minerals sector. We know oil's been on watch since the beginning, or I guess the escalation of tensions in the Middle East last week. So keep an eye on those oil-related names. Health services looking pretty good here, too. Sharply weak, though, is communication. So keep an eye on VZ and T, both pretty notably to the downside. Should be an interesting day with that AMD event at 12 p.m. and Fed comments coming out throughout the day. It's worth noting as well, we did have comments coming in from Fed's Barkin saying that lowering inflation could cause some issues with housing, so that could be a bit of a risk there. Interesting note from Fed's Barkin. Let's see how this board shakes out, guys.
Very much there. I was just joking. They say buy shares at the end of the day when you want to swing or for the long term, because statistically that is the best thing to do. I don't feel that way about Snowflake today. But very quickly, we're still in Google, but we got a bounce on Tesla off of 237. We took that out for the buck, reloaded it at 30, 31, and then got out there. So we're 1 for 4 on Tesla, with the shorts being the better. But if this is a trend reverse that bounced off VWAP, 239 is going to be a breakout here, because that is now all of a sudden looking rather bullish. Trend reverse that bounces off VWAP that aggressively, I want to look breakout there. I still have my order. Someone just said Intel's at the high of the day. I never canceled my Intel break at 2350. That's been in the entire morning. So it's not the high of the day that I'm concerned with. It's right in here. Yesterday's tops, technically yesterday's tops was 238.48, 23.48, but I'm going to work with the 2 cents higher because 50 is a better level. So I'm going to break it out through that 50 level on Intel. Probably could have had a liquidity grab and long at 23 down there, but it doesn't matter. That looks like a flat top break. It looks like a red to green story. I like that kind of a setup.
All right. Yeah, we're just enjoying life again now. Well, we always have. But the thing is like now Google's really making us even happier as it comes right down. And the plan remains the same, man. And someone in the chat is like, how do I learn day trading? I don't really know how to answer that question. I mean, you're watching the show. You're right into there. I mean, we bought VWAP right there. We talk about it, man. Stronger stock. We like the name. We've been looking at Google for a minute. So there it goes. I mean, stay trading the best names that you have. Right now, P&L number 1 on the day here, not even close. We're 4-1 today. The only loss that we have, and I'm trying to correct it right now, but I have nothing to do with losing on a stock. It's not like I lose on it. I have to go right away and start making money on it. Nothing to do with it. It was AMD. AMD is the only stock that we had lost on today because we try to defend 170. It does not break. It does not hold. It breaks. And then we wind up getting out right there, whatever that level was, 169. It wasn't that one. 169.85 or so. There's a couple outs in there. Anyways, breaking back down to the downside, we wind up getting out on that. So we'll wait for this market to settle down. But look what the hell's happening with Google right now. Let's go. This is what happens when, again, we have more confidence. We're using more shares. We're waiting for these trades. We've got it. Go, give me those O2s. We're sitting there at O2, bang, 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 bang. Maybe Google now becomes P&L number 1 for your boy. But let's wait to see. Nice trade there for Google. 40 cents in the money. We'll take some pieces out there. 161, 162.02. Good fill. Let's see if it comes in even more than that. We're still on Palantir, 50 cents. Google, 40 cents. Apple, $1. Day that ends in Y.
Yeah, that is the cleanest VWAP hold that I've seen on a move like that in the futures in a while. Because the futures really, and just about everything else we were saying was tanking. Remember I mentioned in that moment, Alphabet did not make the bigger breakdown, so it held on to that 160. My stop was at 161.60, pretty much exactly. And I could have moved it. In theory, it could have been like right here where the bodies are at like 55 instead of 60, but I put it at 60. It bounced off 60. It held VWAP here. There's your reversal candle. That's the one, like that's a tight one, rejection. The next one, green, take the break of the prior high into 162 and then into the high of the day. Tesla broke that 239 and is now headed up to opening range tops. This is where we started, 240.25. So if we get to 240.25, I want to jump out of it. I already mentioned Intel for the 2350 break. It's at 42. It's trying to go. But once again, the market bounces and there's no bounce to get into Mara short. So it looks like this is just going to be consolidation under VWAP or break of this 15.25 mark. If it breaks 15.25 under VWAP, I'm short Mara. If it bounces off VWAP, then I can work the high of the day. But this thing is just, it's not going when the market bounces. So you got to try to find something. I wanted this short at different prices, but it doesn't matter what you want. It's what's happening. It's weak, relatively speaking. All it has to do is take out that floor. I'm going to set a stop through a 25 break.
Bye-bye.
If it goes to the high, great. If it goes to the high, we can wait for that 15.5. Otherwise, it's a quarter breakdown here on Mara. Finally.
Yeah, and AMD goes back up to the upside, so that will still remain our one losing name here today, which is fine, man. I mean, it's $1 in Apple. We're waiting for Google to go. And by the way, Google is going. So there we go. We'll be up more on Google than we are, obviously, on AMD to the downside. So that's going to be a good thing for us right there. It's always good when that's the ratio. It's like, so we've made almost double on Apple what we've lost on AMD, so that's pretty good. And the same thing is going to be true, hopefully, for Google, especially if we get some more outs right now. We're actually at 07 right here trying to wait for a fill. Sometimes we hold these up, but I have to sit here. Or you could just punch 06s, which, oh, man. Sometimes, all right, let's just punch out here if we can. There we go. Take some 05s there. All right, we'll just punch out 05. So again, we wait on the offer. The thing is, I heard Satya talk about this yesterday about being on a prop floor, and that is that it's often you're playing a fee game as well. So here at Real Trading, we have the best fees in the business. It's not even close. So make sure you go find realtrading.com. The other thing about that is that we can sit here on the offer and add liquidity and get paid to do that. Or if we remove liquidity like I just did there at 05, we have to pay a small fee for that as well. So there is some back and forth there. Oh my, there goes Google right now. We're I'm upset that we just got out at 05, but I'm very happy as it rips up to 15s because, again, when you're trading more shares, I'm just taking pieces out. It's not like this is options or anything like that, like where you might have like 1 or 2 contracts. So therefore, you take a piece out, then you're taking out a third or a half or whatever it is. We're just piecing these trades out, and that's why. That's not why I use more shares. I use more shares because I'm trying to make a little bit more money. But at the end of the day, you got to be right. And if you're not right, then you should not be upping your share size. So let's just see what happens right now with Google. It's 55 cents in the money on some great reloads. So there it goes, Google trying to go higher. I think we might as well be hands off now and just see if this market wants to go. We're sitting over we're about 250 in the money now on these 3 positions.
Yeah, by the way, we're not avoiding NVIDIA. You got to focus on what you're in. I saw people in the chat are like, hey, what's going on with NVIDIA? It's almost at 135. I'm taking a break on Intel through 23.5 in like 5 or 6 cents. NVIDIA has 135 as a resistance up top. So if you're in a chip name, I think that does bear watching. It's stair-step to the upside. I also just reversed in Tesla, which is trying to pull back into prior highs. So if you go in here, like the 238.5, that's the zone I'm giving this long to. Like where we were short before into VWAP, that's now where I want to be long into on Tesla. So want to get a bounce here. If it can show me a bounce and a resumption of trend, I jump back into some shares. I just got Mara, so Mara must have broken down. Okay, so Mara, while the market was going up, Mara wasn't really doing much. It just flat bottom. It's not really a flat bottom break. It just broke this support here at 15.25. I'm now short. We didn't get much slippage. We got 23s, not 24s. So it's, I guess, 1 penny worth of slippage. Back above VWAP, and I'm out on MARA. So still about 5 or 6 cents away from a potential breakout here on Intel. I think that's going to be the next position for me. It's essentially yesterday's high on Intel. Nice consolidation top here. Been sitting with this order out since the pre-market. There's a double top yesterday. You're climbing into it. Going to take the break and give it into the pre-market high. Probably maybe like a 41 or 42 level. Let's go to the desk. Get a little money talks.
Nice push higher here for the DXY on the daily chart. Now above the 103 level. Next resistance level I can see here could potentially be that 103.25 area we hit in August. Let's see what happens here for the DXY, which has been on a great move to the upside since the start of the month. Actually, October 1st is when we really began that push off of the 100-point area. We did get higher than expected CPI across the board for month over month and core year over year for both core and non-core, and that's all up by 0.1% above the expectation. So core CPI for September, 0.3% versus 0.2% expected on a month-over-month basis. Year over year, 3.3 versus 3.2 expected. Month over month, 0.2 versus 0.1 expected. Year over year, 2.4% versus 2.3% expected. We also had jobs data, and that actually came in a little bit above expectations here. 258,000 jobless claims versus 231,000 claims expected. So above by more than 20,000 there. We've had comments from Fed speakers all day, and our next, and from what I can tell, final speaker on the docket is going to be Fed's Williams starting at 11 a.m. We also had comments from Fed's Goolsby today in a CNBC interview, actually seemingly addressing the FOMC minutes that came out at 2 p.m., which showed some discrepancy in terms of the Fed's thinking. Fed's Goolsby said, quote, Fed minutes at moments of transition often show diversity of thought at the Fed, likely addressing the fact that, A, we did have Michelle Bowman actually dissenting from the decision for the first time since 2005, and then also, B, the fact that a lot of these minutes showed that there were some Feds leaning towards that 25 basis point cut beyond Fed's Bowman. So interesting comments coming out of there from Fed's Goolsby. Let's see what Fed's Williams has to say in 10 minutes.
Yeah, Williams is in 10 minutes. We went over that, Barkin, Williams, and Goolsby or something like that. All right, never seen this name before, but it means a lot. So this is Friedel Diltz. Friedel Diltz? Sean, I was broke 2 years ago. Join the club. Since I started following your channel, I am now a millionaire? Wow, glad to have changed lives right there. That's impressive. You must have been swinging a lot of shares there, but congratulations. Why is no one talking? Neil just talked about NVIDIA there. So yeah, I can go over any stock you want me to, but for right now, we stay chilled out and trading what we are trading. I should be short AMD still. We did get stopped out right there by 1 penny is what it is. I'm hearing in my ear right now the ports, and again, awesome. And oh my God, and bang. some of the ports are already reopening there. So due to Hurricane Milton. So that is great, man. It helps get supplies in there, helps businesses just continue to operate if need be, get those shipments in. I don't need to explain this to everybody, but that's a great sign there. So congratulations to all the hard work, and the response obviously has been seemingly pretty good. Well, obviously, you always hear after the fact, like what the response was and how it was handled. But I guess with the ports reopening, so far so good there. Look at that, man. I'm not going to slap a fail on the trade because I still like the idea. We got stopped out by 1 cent there on AMD, and now it's a 50-cent winner. Look, no matter where your stops are, I hope it wasn't where mine was, because there it goes to the downside. We talked about playing this off VWAP, off of everything. It does break. We get out. We are a little bit nervous about the fact that AMD does have that event today, so we wanted to get out and not be wrong with that one. But we're just cashing out of everything right now. Google, more outs, man. We got that 162. We got some nice upside outs there. We might as well just get out of Palantir if it breaks. So that's 42.89. We've done amazing on Palantir today. So 42.88, we'll put that as a stop, because we're getting ready to get out of here, man. At 11 o'clock, we'll go for our walks. We may go do some cycling or something like that. We'll figure it out. It'll be 3 days in a row now, Sharif, if we go. And okay, here we go. So Palantir, we're still on that one. We'll figure out what we're doing. Google, Apple, the TQs, and AMD, we on one, guys.
Yeah, and we're rolling back over. Shout out to that Friedel there. That's fantastic news about the ports. It's weird that the market, you get good news in there and the market decides to roll a little bit lower.
Yep.
But it doesn't really matter. The market's not going to necessarily move on that. I know it's a big deal, but it's not going to matter too much. I just took first profit in Mara. Going to be bidding into the low of the day here, and $15 is going to be a level as well. So when you look at the daily chart, obviously there's been a ton of support at 15 even, and even a little bit underneath 15 at 14.90. So those are going to be the areas of concern. Intel broke that high. Decided to give it to 42, stops in at 42, long at 51.5. So we're long 51.5, stop is in. I mean, this is 43 in here, but about 42 we're going to give it to like this candle. I think there's plenty of room, obviously, for this to go, given how badly beaten it up it was. On the daily, you got 24 change as the big level. Since it had the big destruction, that's been the local high here on a closing basis or an opening basis, about 24 and change. That's a long ways away. The market's going to have to do something pretty spectacular for us to get back in there. So Intel just went red to green, had that breakout trade pretty much the entire morning lined up to go. So we're now into it to the long side. Alphabet still holding on to it. It did try to break back out. This is the old trend line. It doesn't really matter. I mean, it just happened to reverse off of that. It tried to break and get into the high of the day here, but didn't. There's always a chance we can get another VWAP hold. But see the way it bounced off VWAP? First time I got in front end instead of back end. This time I want to let it bounce, see if we can't get an entry on a little bit of strength instead of weakness over here in Google. VWAP has been holding rather nicely. Let's see if it can do it a third time again. So clean entries the first 3, even if that one was missed time and ended up working out anyways.
I have no offers on Google. Let's just wait to see if this goes out. If it falls down, we'll get out 160, 150. I have nothing bad to say about Google. We really like that stock. We'll probably buy some more very, very soon and just add to our largest position. All right, so I think Palantir breaks the high of the day. So I mean, again, this base taking out VWAP, bouncing off VWAP again, now starting to go back higher. I think we can get up to here to 43.30. So I'm going to put an offer at 43.30. If we get hit, we get hit. Our stop, remember where it is, breaking through 90s right now. So I like that ratio on what we have left. 15 cents to the downside, 30 cents to the upside. We'll take it. We'll see if it can work out for us. We do not have what's for lunch, but yesterday, I didn't get any of that beef. Did you have that beef there yesterday, Joe? It was good. It was good. Okay, Fabian also stamping that one there. So undefeated yesterday, that sirloin, the teriyaki sirloin, very, very popular around here. Okay, so that's the plan of action on Palantir. We'll leave you with that. The plan of action on Google is never sell, so I'll leave you with that. And then Apple, same ways. If we can get down into here right now for Apple, then we could see something around 227. That, to me, would be a dip buy opportunity. But Maybe not even. There's really no support other than what we see here on candlesticks. There's no moving averages that I look at that are supporting that 227. If anything, it's kind of telling you if we lose this 50 area, then Apple might trend down. So watch out for that one. Google right now, 40 cents. Google bouncing again. Palantir, we might just get that offer that we're looking for up here at 43. I mean, let's just go to here, 43.25. The high of the day is 43.25. The pre-market on that number, I guess, when it was dancing, hit 43.30. But if we could take that, Phil, we'll do that. We're getting much, much closer. As I talk, the net just keeps going up, so maybe I should just keep talking. But we'll pass it over to Neil now with only 2 minutes left. Congratulations on the day so far for everybody. I hope it's been a good one. 4 for 1 here. And thank you again to Friedel there. And glad that you were able to have some success trading over the last year. And hopefully it will continue for you. But the only way it can do that is if you continue watching Trader TV Live.
Exactly. And DJT, it's almost there, everybody. The 25 level, this is the one I liked. It just got to 24.5. So now I'm looking for a trend reverse on DJT. I don't really care too much about, the price level matters, but it's like an area. When the stock was $20 at the open and now it's 24, like it's moved a lot. The first trend gone. Now that you've broken high, going to look for some kind of a mean reverse. It might be doing it right now as we speak. Topping tail candle on DJT. Yeah. All right. It looks like it's starting to go to the downside. That 24.40 looks like the prior high. Let's see if I can slide in here off of those quarters. I mean, I could draw you another steep trend line in there, but you get the idea. It just top wicked at 24.5. This is right adjacent to the area that we're looking for the mean reversion on. So we'll see if we can get it. I did reload Alphabet. It did like a bottoming tail candle into VWAP and then bounced. So I got back into the long, or you'll see my price has changed on that. But DJT is now at the zone that we want. I've thrown my stop. If it breaks out that 40, I'll jump out. I'm offering at the quarter mark here at 24. I think like 22 actually is where I'm sitting on this one. I'll slide it down a little bit into the teens. Yeah, I'm going to slide it into the teens, see if we can't get a fill. Maybe add to it at the quarters. I want my price to be quarters, so I'll maybe get 19s and like 28s if I can pick it up. But mean reversion could already be on here on DGT. 17% to the upside. You guys can tell me why it's so strong. I really don't have any idea. And it doesn't really matter. Price action.
Yeah, there's a big story.
Yeah, but I haven't seen it for myself. I don't know, whatever.
Adara had it.
I remember like the last time there was that story, it was like there was almost nobody that was really downloading or using it.
Yeah,
so
yeah,
it was
I don't know. I think it's just brand new today. I don't know.
I have no idea whether it's picking up. It was kind of like Threads.
It's not available here in Canada.
What's the thing? We couldn't even test it out to see what it was like. All right, so it's already starting to pull back. I don't want to chase it. If there's any kind of a bounce off this 23.8, I'll look for some kind of a lower high here. DJT already starting to fall back in here. Maybe there's a bit of a bounce I can play, like a consolidation short. Close enough to 25 that this is the level we want. It's already 11 o'clock, so I guess we're heading on over. We've got Sharif. We've got Joe, so get your options questions ready. You know they're always locked and loaded. Go get them, gentlemen. It is the midday madness once again, and learn to trade.
Hey.
What's up, beautiful people? Welcome to How to Trade, formerly known as That Midday Show. That's your boy Joe, and I'm Sharif. And we're going to have to wait for everyone to come on over from the other stream. We already have a few